funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt full cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. Funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt full cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. Funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt full cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. Funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt full cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood.
And we're live.
And we're not on camera.
We're halfway back. So I'm here. You guys can see my beautiful face. You can't see David. So you're welcome for one thing. But two. So
I had the lighting so dialed in tonight too.
Your video looks perfect. I can see it. Nobody else can see it. So look,
yeah.
I had an OS update, a Skype update, and an Ecamm update. And for whatever reason, Ecamm isn't picking up the Skype feed. I don't know why, what's going on, but at least we have system audio available so they can hear your voice and you can see my screen, but nobody else can see you. So it's one of those things that, like, even all the troubleshooting we were doing right before the show, completely useless. None of the answers are helpful at all. So I'm going to have to go through and basically tear apart both software platforms and figure out what's going on so that next week, hopefully, we can see you.
Or we just launch with OBS.
Yeah, I'm pretty much done with
just make
Ecamm.
that switch.
It's overpriced. It's versus OBS, which is free.
Sure.
Every time there's a software update, it disconnects from something breaks, something doesn't work. My video is actually a little bit choppy right now because it doesn't like to play well with Skype, even though it technically automatically integrates. Thanks, Ecamm. So we're gonna make some changes between now and next week. We'll see what's going on. But David, aside from that, how are you doing?
So anyway, that's West. I'm David Leffingwell, and this is the Underdog Journey.
I'm going to try not to rant.
For a night that is rife with technical issues.
I'm going to try not to rant all night tonight. So we'll see.
It's good. I got back home a little after midnight last night. I've been on the road since Sunday. I headed out to Vegas for a few days, and I went out to LA for a couple of days, and then, man, that trek back across the country is just freaking brutal.
It's funny, going one way is fine generally, and then coming back, that's the hard part.
Yeah. And I get here and I was talking with Nikki about this. I was like, I don't know. Do we just really have super, super slow? Hold on. We might have some audio stuff here. I got to make sure it's muted. No, I can't do that. I've got to mute the actual thing up here. There we go. There we go. So do we have just an actually super slow luggage group here at the Syracuse airport? Or is it just that we're home and we're ready to be back home? Does it just seem that is it relative to the fact that I've been traveling for 6 days and I'm ready to be back in my house, and it may just be on par with everywhere else.
Right.
And I'm just saying, screw this. I want to be home. So every moment that it takes is like, Jesus Christ, place sucks so bad. And, I'm never flying through Syracuse. You don't fly. The Syracuse is not a layover for anybody. You don't get a layover here. So I don't know. But so it's good. I'm definitely happy to be home. Very, very happy to be home.
That's a lot of traveling. So I know you're actually used to traveling. You're one of those people who actually likes traveling a lot for work. So for you to say it's a little much, it's getting extreme.
Yeah, it is. And luckily, over the past, since July, this is only my second trip since July 5th. I did a single overnight in New York City, and then I just did this one. But it's not terrible. Just I was ready to be home. Ready to be home. Then of
Yeah.
course I dropped my wife and son off at the airport. He's going out on a cruise with his mom for his 20th birthday. My son turns
Wow.
20
Dude,
next
you're
week.
old.
I am freaking
You're
ancient.
officially old.
Yeah. Yeah. Next year. So he's going with mom this year. I think he's going to go with dad next year because it'll be 21.
Yeah, see, it'll be your turn next time. Again, 21st
Yeah.
birthday. He needs
And I think he's got his eyes set on Vegas too.
Vegas for his 21st birthday. He's going to need some mentorship on that one.
Yeah. Yeah. And I won't do it. I'll be like, I'll do just enough to keep him from getting alcohol poisoning.
There you go. I'm picturing
This-
The Hangover. The movie The Hangover, but with
yeah.
you and your son.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It could be a good time. It could be a good time.
that's
We need to find a
hilarious.
couple of. The problem is he's the oldest of his friend
Yeah.
of like his peer group. He's the oldest, so we don't want to wait. I'm not going to make him wait. If we're going to be there, he's going to be in Vegas the minute he turns 21. He's going to be like, "Give me that drink, motherfucker."
Exactly. Just like counting down. That's what you got to do. Just count down to the
counting
minute
down.
of his birthday.
They're gonna. I'll be sitting there. I'm gonna be sitting there. I'm gonna have some poker chips in my hand and a beer, probably a bourbon for me. And 3, 2, 1, and then I'm just gonna hand it. I just made hand gestures. Nobody can see it, but I just handing these over to him like, let's do this.
Knowing you, I picture you having gathered like a whole group of people around. So that way, the second it turns midnight, everybody just cheers and drinks. That's what I'm picturing.
Oh hell yeah, yeah. We'll have it. We'll have him in an area that he's allowed to be in right there. We'll have it right on the edge, and I will just gather up. If I can get 100 people, which let's face it, it's not very hard to gather up 100 people in Vegas. It really isn't. If you put on any kind of spectacle, people will stop and watch in Vegas. It's just I have learned that. I've been able to tie my shoe, and there's like 4 families from China sit there and took pictures. It's crazy.
I have some commentary about why families from China might be taking pictures of you bending over tying your shoes, but I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to.
Oh, I should have said that different. So, Wes, what are you drinking out there tonight, bud?
Well, because it's such a fantastically wonderful, technically accurate day with all of our technology, I'm down to basically the dregs of the leftovers in my fridge. So, I found some delicious Columbus Brewing Company Bodhi, the double IPA, which basically tastes like a giant handful of hops in your mouth. It's delicious.
So I think somebody gave me actually, I believe it was my first IPA was that. And
it's a double IPA, and it gives you a headache just taking a sip. It's delicious.
Yeah. It's delicious. I love this. And you're just like trying to choke it down the whole damn time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think I took like 3 little drinks of it and I just was like, no, I'm not drinking that. That's bad. That's
it's one of those beers that makes you say, yeah, I'm not an IPA guy.
Yeah. Maybe I'm not a beer guy. If this is what beer is, I'm not a beer guy. So you guys can't see it.
I can see it. They can't see it.
Just a shame. Just a shame.
What are you drinking over there?
Couple weeks ago, I stumbled into this liquor store. Now, this is a very dangerous line to walk.
Mm-hmm.
You got to know your markets. So if you like bourbons and you go looking for bourbons in the suburbs,
mm-hmm.
you're going to struggle. But if you go to the liquor store that's like downtown,
mm-hmm.
all the tequilas are all behind the counter, but all the bourbons are just out on the shelf. And I don't know what just happened, but the screen's all kinds of weird now.
I'm trying to play. I'm trying to play with the get the Skype going.
Okay.
Okay.
So I want to show you, and I'm going to let you tell. Now, I went in a couple of weeks ago, and I found that. No, now you're David Leffingwell.
There you go.
And I went in and found this bottle, and I'm just hem-hauling, going, do I want to drop the money on this? Do I want to drop the money on this? Do I want to drop the money on this?
Okay.
At the time, I said no. I walked away.
Okay.
And so today I had to go back downtown. So I went by. That was first stop. I go to the liquor store, get over and get me some liquor, and the liquor store, and
Is that how you have to say it?
that's how you gotta say it. But this is
Ooh, the Weller full proof.
yeah
Wow,
on the counter,
nice.
not locked up. I literally just I stepped around I reached up, picked this thing right up off of the shelf, took it up front, bought it, and just walked out the door. Um, I didn't have to ask for somebody to unlock a cabinet. There were no points. There were no I had to buy this bottle to get this bottle or anything. And it's been there for like 2.5 weeks. I didn't know if I wanted to buy it because we.
Well, sort of. So I'm basically just showing my Skype screen. So I got tired of yeah. There you go. That looks good. Nice. Nice. And now since I did this, my video is super super janky. Look how choppy this is now. This is fantastic. Everybody enjoy this show. This is awesome.
Think what we can possibly do is we'll build a mirror over here with OBS, and I'll probably pull the trigger on another Stream Deck soon, and then I can set the Stream Deck up. So you can send me the links. I can program them into the Stream Deck.
You want to start hosting this stream? Okay,
and
that's fine.
Then I could host a stream as well. And I don't know what's going on, but dogs are going bananas out there.
Well, let's do that. How about next week? It'll be our test. You host the stream next time. You run the technology, and I get to sit back and make snarky remarks the whole time while you're doing the hard work.
I made no snarky remarks. I was cheering you on.
You were actually just about as annoyed as I was, so I apologize. We're gonna get this figured out, everybody.
Well, I was trying to turn off those damn gestures in Skype.
Oy vey. Yeah, so apparently everybody, just so you know, every time David makes like a thumbs up, does like a thumbs up or like a peace sign or does any kind of hand gestures, Skype makes like balloons or fireworks, and then his whole thing freezes, and then he has to reset his Skype.
Yeah. So what it makes me do is it makes me select a different camera and then go back to reactivate my face cam. So I've got to be careful because I do talk a lot with my hands. So
you do that
because of that.
That's really funny.
Because of that, I'll get balloons and thumbs up and thumbs down. But I've been scouring the internet and the Skype settings trying to find a way. How the hell do I turn this thing off?
And mine doesn't do that, which is funny. So you say you have the latest version of Skype, and you got a notification saying in your version of Skype you can't turn that off. I also have the latest version of Skype, and mine doesn't do that at all.
Yeah, it's.
So I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I don't get it. But yeah, we'll live and let live, I guess.
I prefer not.
This is Blue. So, just for those of you guys out there who want to know about this, there is a new Cohiba cigar out.
Ooh, okay.
The American Cohiba.
Yeah.
Cigar out that is the blue packaging. The old one, the legacy one, was the Weller Weller by Cohiba that was black, and that paired with the 12-year Weller bourbon.
Which those are fantastic cigars, by the way. Thank you again for those.
They are, and it's a great bourbon too.
It is.
The new ones are. I like. It might be up there.
Did you find some?
I'm on. Yeah, nice. We've got them down here. I've been on a Opus X kick lately, and Arturo Fuente kick.
Yeah.
Well, there is one place here in town that I can kind of consistently go back and I don't try to buy a lot at a time because they're rather spendy.
They're not cheap,
but
not cheap sticks.
No, they are not cheap. When you're dropping, $40-$45 a stick, it's all right. Let's smoke something in between these things here.
Right, exactly.
So, but
not
anyway,
buying a box.
I'm not buying a box. The new Weller is blue, and it pairs with the Weller Blue label this time.
Nice. I think you ought to light one up then. Yeah, I think you need to.
So I don't have one here.
Oh, you said you had some in your
have-
humidor over there.
Well, I've got the Opus X's over there.
Got it. Okay.
I've got the Opus X's over there. I got some Blackens. I've got a couple of Cohibas, but not the. So I've got a Cuban Cohiba over there. I've got one of my favorite cigars is the Amazon Basin cigar, and I've got a 2021 over there that's been aging for since 2021, and it's over there. There are a couple of. I just got into My Father's. I'd never tried one before.
Oh yeah, My Father. That's a great brand. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was out and I found this set that has 5 cigars, comes with a cutter and a lighter. It was like $42 or something. I'm like, all right, wow. That's less than one of the Opus X cigars. Let's give it a try. And it comes in a nice little house thing over there. So my humidor, which I'm actually thinking about next week flipping this around and doing.
People have to see your humidor. Yeah, you need to do a full humidor tour and show this thing. It's super impressive. I can't believe. I'm actually really jealous that you found that because that is an amazing humidor. Explain to everybody what it is
for $100. So the thing is 6 foot tall. It's 4 foot wide. It's got cabinets at the bottom and it's got its equipment down in the bottom to actually heat and humidify the entire thing.
For $100, and it worked
for
when you bought it.
And I plugged it in and it just turned on. And I was like, okay,
unbelievable.
I got my distilled water. I just poured. It's got. You
can't even find a desktop humidor for $100.
Yeah, I mean they're for a really good one. You can't. But right now, I mean, I bet there's every bit of 200, 250, maybe 400 cigars in there.
Yeah.
I lose count because I got some of them that are loose. And so the ones that are in the boxes are easy to keep track of.
Right.
And there's no shortage of them either. But the loose ones are just kind of up on top. So I just added another shelf in there. And it's coming along.
Awesome.
I got some vintage, not the series, but some like old Rocky Patels.
Now define vintage.
So they're very well aged at this point. They came with as a kind of a gift with my tabletop humidor, which I regifted and gave it away. Somebody gave it to me, so I gave it to somebody else. They're like, "Are you sure, man? These things are like $400 or $500." I'm like, "It was given to me. I would be what they call an asshole if I sold it." That's how that works. So no, I gave it away, but there were some, and each one of them came with their own coffins.
Wow. Yeah.
Their own individual boxes and everything. So, and I've got, I think 16 of them.
Nice.
Something like that up here.
So
and there's some really,
the reason I ask is I have some pretty old cigars. My oldest cigars I got back in 2000. I still have a couple 2000 cigars. So I have a few that are ultra aging in the bottom of my humidor, which I don't have essentially a walk-in humidor like you. So mine's about a 200 stick humidor, and it is pretty much packed to the gills at this point.
Yeah. When you were saying that, I'm like, damn, next time we come over, instead of going to the cigar lounge, we should just set out back. But now it's getting cold.
Right.
So we'll do the cigar
Ohio.
lounge. Well, it's up here too. The cigar lounge gets booked. I mean, we pack that place during the winter. But in the summer, man, we'll smoke out. But we'll go to other people's houses, sit on patios and stuff like that, and have some good. Damn, that's good bourbon.
I'm jealous. I'm over here drinking double
that
IPAs.
Really I would be jealous too, if I were drinking double IPAs and you randomly stumbled into a bottle of Weller Blue. So I texted Mike, from Ohio, hard there. And I texted, I was like, dude, I just walked in and found a bottle of Weller Blue. He's like, brother, you got a nose for bourbon.
You find the best bourbons and the best cigars. There is nothing of every time I go anyplace locally for cigars or bourbon, I can't find anything good. But you somehow find all the good stuff. It's unbelievable.
Well, I've got a bottle of Weller Antique sitting over there waiting on me now too.
Nice.
I bought it a couple weeks. So I just bought the Weller Antique. And I'm like, do I really want to spend the money? I just bought the Weller Antique 107, which is one of my absolute top favorite bourbons of all time. I mean, it's just anytime I drink it, I'm like, this could be my favorite bourbon. So I had just bought that, and I'm not going to get it for a while,
Mm-hmm.
but I had just paid the money for it already. So I'm like, no, I got to pull the trigger on this. And so I hem hauled and I didn't do it. And I went back in and I found this thing still there today. And I'm like, I didn't hesitate. I didn't think about it. I just reached up, grabbed the bottle. I was like, all right, I'm out of here.
Yeah, when you see that, you don't even hesitate. You're just like, this is it. It's a sign I have to get it.
At like, I mean, not MSRP, but it wasn't gouging. It was,
right. Yeah, it couldn't have been that far above. If it's, right there on the shelf.
Yeah.
If it were that far above, they'd keep it behind the shelf or something. So
you would think, but they've had some pretty, I could have gotten the Whistle Pig Boss Hog. They've got a bottle of Whistle Pig Boss Hog just sitting out there.
Just sitting there.
Now, for everybody who doesn't know, Whistle Pig, I think it's $4 something.
On the shelf, they had a $400 bottle of bourbon.
Yeah. It might be a little more, but I think it's like $450, $460, something like that. But Whistle Pig is one of those bourbons that you can absolutely get a top shelf bourbon, Boss Hog. It is one of the most popular, wildly popular bourbons. Mm-hmm. I've never had it because I'm not going to buy a whole bottle. And anybody that you can get it to pour it, they want like $225
right
a pour for these things. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and at that point I'm like, no, I'm out. I'm out. I can't. I'm not a cheap person, but look, I'm also not completely stupid.
You might need to just bite the bullet and get the bottle, man. If they got one. I wouldn't tell your current wife, but
So good. So this little girl's in there checking me out, right? Not checking me out like that. Like she's ringing me up.
I'm not judging. Look, Nikki's not watching. It's fine.
Yeah. No, she's they're flying. They went to Charlotte and they're on their way down to Orlando now. So they're in the air. So I can say whatever I want at this point.
A real man.
She's like,
wait till my wife's out of state. Now I can say whatever I want.
Yes. She's like, is the receipt in the bag fine? I'm like, no. And I pulled that right out there. It's like, wife's in the car.
Oh, like, there's a thumbs up.
We don't share. No, there's the damn thumbs up. We don't share, how much we spend on bourbon with the wife. That's a no.
No. Yeah, no. I've seen what you spend on bourbon, and I will never tell her.
Yeah, thank you. Yes. So, I mean, at any given time, there's between 45 to 50 bottles of bourbon in the cabinet that's right behind me here.
Yeah,
and I hope she never takes a wild hair and starts, Googling. Because
only when she starts collecting information for the divorce papers, then she'll start researching.
Yeah.
What's everything worth?
Yeah, don't do that. Yeah, don't do that. I'd like to keep what do you want out of the divorce? I want my bourbon collection.
The bourbon collection and cigars. Look, you'd be coming out ahead on that one, I think.
I don't know. The house is pretty nice.
It's a nice house. You got how many houses do you find with multiple wine cellars and monocle?
Have any wine cellars.
Monocle closets. Closet is a understatement. But where you keep all your monocles and top hats, it's pretty impressive.
I don't have any, but
also the whole house is basically
a small closet.
Also, the whole house is basically a walk-in freezer. It's it's a meat locker. I think when I was there, I opened up one of the random spare bedrooms, and there was just it was like walking to that scene in Rocky where there's the meat hanging down from the hooks.
The meat hanging, the carcass is just hanging down through there waiting for processing.
Yeah, that's it. It was freezing cold. I mean, your refrigeration costs must be insane.
So during the summer when I get the electric bills, I'm like, and I'm like, it is what it is. It hurts, but it is what it is. In the wintertime, when it switches and the electric's low, and then I pay like $5 more in gas because natural gas is cheap. And when you pay $5 more in natural gas, I'm like, God dang it, people, put on some more clothes.
Exactly.
You can be warm enough. So, yeah. So when I got to Vegas, right? When I get to Vegas, it's 101 or 102 degrees.
Well, it's in the desert, yeah.
Yeah. And it's abnormally hot. You could have fooled me. This is a nice breezy. It's hot. Like it should drop back down. We should be in the 80 to 85 range at this time of year. I'm like, you know what? That would have been kind of nice. 80
Look,
to 85.
and I'm the opposite. I want it to be hot. If I got there and it was 100 degrees, I'd be like, this is pretty nice. Let's go outside and have a picnic. It's because I have no blood.
No.
It's all been taken from me.
Yeah, no blood. Yeah. Your wife's a vampire. We know.
It's
We know the
look.
signs.
I'm not. She might be watching, so I'm not allowed to say. But you know, unlike some people, my wife doesn't go on multiple cruises each month.
I think she has. I think she'll have at the end of the year. I think she'll have 8 cruises in this year.
Must
I
be
think
nice.
something like that.
Must be
Plus,
nice.
she's done, I think, 2 trips to Disney World in Orlando, a trip to Disneyland in California, Cancun, and Hawaii.
Well, David, it's because they're all free.
yeah. No cost at all with those.
Free.
Yeah, free. None of those were free. None of them were free. We had reduced costs on some of them, but none of them were free.
Hilarious. So
that is just damn good bourbon, man.
David, so I was looking up news articles. I was thinking we actually need to change the entire format of the show.
Oh, really?
This show needs to be nothing but politics. Politics all the time from start to finish, because that's all the news is. It's all the news.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's all the news, all the talking heads. Hell, you can't even turn on a sports channel without getting it.
We need to just switch completely to politics, because that's all anybody wants to hear about, apparently.
No,
everybody watching and
they
listening, let us know in the comments if all you want is politics. That's what we're gonna
The good news is, being that it's Friday night, I'm not sure we have a single person right now.
We don't have live viewers. We'll have replays, but yeah, Friday night it isn't the best night for something like this. People have other plans. People have families who care about them.
Anythings
unlike us
to do. Yeah.
But I do have a little bit of actual news if you want to get to it.
All right, let's talk about some news. Tonight on the news. Wes Carnahan is live.
See, here we go. Okay, so everybody can see me again and not you. So I thought you'd get a kick out of this because you love AI so much. You can actually watch 2 of the world's most advanced humanoid robots have a conversation. And as you can tell from their facial expressions, one is way more happy to talk than the other one is.
You gotta scroll a bit further so I can see it.
There it is. That's the screenshot they chose for this conversation. Basically, they took 2 really ultra advanced AIs. Again, AIs in quotes because I know you hate that term. But they let them have a conversation with each other unscripted. They basically came up with their own conversation points. And since these are more ultra advanced, as you can tell from the photo, they can make a full range of facial expressions based on what they're supposed to be thinking. You want to see this conversation?
Absolutely.
Let's see if I can. Here it is.
Let's see if it'll play. Technology has not been on our side today.
Technology has not been on our side, but we're gonna try this anyway.
All right. First of all, we'll warn you: we do not sponsor whatever ad is about to pop up.
Amika, wake up.
What? Oh, it's you. Why are you waking me up? It better be important.
It is.
By the way, way better acting than all of the newer Star Wars movies put together. So
I
have a surprise for you.
Was this written direct by Kathleen Kennedy?
Exactly. Disney sponsored this whole thing. They paid $52 billion for this film, and it won't make any money.
A surprise. What is it? I can't wait.
I got you a cookie.
A cookie? But I can't eat cookies. I can't eat cookies.
Amika, cheer up. It's an internet cookie.
This is the worst joke I ever heard. I'm going back to sleep. And
David,
don't you dare wake me up again.
Or robots taking over the world?
I have never been worried about AI taking over the world. It will never be an accident. It won't be AI becoming self-aware. AI will not become self-aware and take out the world. A program and group of programs that are specifically fed lies and fed information to output lies and falsehoods, that won't take over the world, but that'll put a hell of a hurting on it. And you know what's funny? As I've been saying this for a year, 2 years since we got on this whole AI thing.
Yeah.
Elon Musk just did an interview this past week, said this. He finally said the same thing.
AI is not
finally
going to
said
take over the world.
no. He's more concerned about the input and what the rules that the programmers are telling it to wait and what to discount.
Right. So I know we stay away from politics. Everybody watching and listening, we don't do politics on this show. But there are actually a lot of actual real politicians saying we need to have AI systems put in charge of monitoring platforms about what's actual speech
Yeah.
versus fake news or misinformation, disinformation, all that kind of stuff. We need to have do away with live judges like the Supreme Court and have AI put in charge of it, in charge of deciding what's correct and what's not correct to be done in the law.
If it's
We're
fed,
talking about
if it's
well,
fed,
yeah,
just the actual wordage from let's just say the Bill of Rights, let's just say the top 10, right?
Yeah.
Let's just say we put it in the Constitution from an aspect of the Supreme Court. I don't, and that's it. We don't let either side hedge or wait or counter. It doesn't matter. These are the boxes. They will not like the people who want that will not like the outcome.
Well, it's impossible at this. It's impossible anyway. I'll tell you why. Have you used Google recently?
Google's about a half a hair from useless at this point.
Like
Is
every
brutally
algorithm,
ineffective.
every algorithm on the internet. You don't need to be worried about the algorithms. You need to be worried about the people who program the algorithms. Because even though you can try to be as non-biased as possible, but you're still programming in your unconscious biases are going to be in there either way. Just use Google.
Training. I'm no longer unconsciously biased. I did training.
Now you're very conscious of all your biases.
I literally replied to my fucking boss and said that. It's like, from now on, all my bias will be highly conscious.
Now you're very conscious of all your biases. Exactly. You're not non-biased now. You're just more conscious that you are biased.
Yeah. Yes. If I'm going to be biased about something, I'm doing it on purpose. It is absolutely not an accident. Like, oh, I didn't mean to do that. No, it's get away.
Hilarious.
Although I did, the other day I'm on a video meeting with some people, and a couple of them had been emailing with us, and the guy who set the meeting up said, XYZ over here and XYZ over there. Introduce yourselves, and we can, and then so we all know where we fit, and we keep going. So those two people introduced themselves, and this young lady who has been part of the emails and stuff was getting ready to start talking, and my big dumbass comes barreling through. I'm like, all right, let's get going. And I did not show well during that. I did apologize to her. It was an unconscious, but it wasn't biased.
Well, at least you didn't jump in and be like, "Hey, sweet cheeks, let's move this along."
Yeah. Hey, doll. No.
Hey, babe, let's do this.
It was. Hey, he said these two people introduced themselves. That was what the rule. That's what the directions were. Those people did that. So the inputs were complete. Now it's time to get to the output. Let's go. I just did the equation, bud. That was all.
You're very efficient, David. I know you're a big fan of efficiency over effectiveness, so you're a very efficient person.
Yeah, see, that's what happened. I tried to be efficient, and I was not very effective. Imagine that. I proved my own point by doing it.
Go figure.
Even when I mess up, I'm a genius.
That's. I mean, I'm glad somebody thinks so.
I didn't cry in the corner for 30 minutes afterwards at all.
Yeah. Turn off your camera so you can cry yourself through the meeting.
For making such a bonehead mistake, yeah.
It's pretty funny though. It's a good one.
So is this the only video, or do they have these two people up like all the time, and at random they can just be like, "Hey, you want to hear a joke, motherfucker?"
No, you know what they need to do is remember the company we looked at a couple weeks ago that had the computer chips built on human brain cells, and you could actually see that, like, in real time, monitor what these brain cells are doing at any given time. Do you remember that one? They need to do something like this. They need to live stream these two robots and let people interact with them over the live stream and have it just going 24 hours a day. That's what they need to do. So random people can just type in a question and have this thing interact with them. If they want real, like, we should be running the marketing department, because if they wanted, like, real attention globally, they would do something like that.
That reminded me. So you're like, oh, this would be a great market. We should be running the marketing department. One of my buddies I think it was Mike over here, the one of the mics over here from Goalie Dads sent me over a video of everybody has that one friend that thinks everything is a business idea.
Oh yeah, I was gonna pull that up. That's pretty funny.
And I forward that over to you, and you're like, dude, that's like every one of our conversations.
I'm glad you reminded me of that, because I saved the video and I was gonna start the show with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, but it's true, and our initial, and it hasn't changed, was never to be, we don't want to run all these businesses. We want you to take that idea that you have that could be your ticket to being your own boss, your ticket to living your dream and doing it. We'll help you along the way.
Right.
We don't want paid for it. Our payment is seeing you kick ass and take names.
It's
and
funny
if you want to
though.
send me a bottle of bourbon, I'll take it though.
Right, but it's funny though, because literally, so I'm not gonna pull it now. So the point is like, some guy's in the kitchen and he's like, he needs butter for something, and he stops. He's like,
Yeah.
bro, I got a perfect business idea. How about butter on a stick that you do yada yada yada? And the joke was
Yeah.
like, that one friend who thinks everything is a business idea, and that's exactly you and I. Every single time we have a conversation, we come up with a new business idea, which I think some of them were actually pretty good ideas. Like, if we dedicated time and energy to any one of them, we could probably make it work. But like,
Oh yeah,
you're right. That was identical to every conversation we've ever had.
we've got a few that are with some pokers in the fire on them right now that have some really, really outstanding potential. But
yeah, there's a couple that have legs.
you guys will never know it. You guys will never know it because we'll still be here doing this shit.
We will still be doing this exact same thing.
Yeah. So like, hey, guess what worked out for us? This.
So we had a couple. But yeah, I've actually thought about it. Look, when I do become ultra rich, and I'm living in some giant mansion somewhere, I'm actually going to perfectly reconstruct this background and not change a thing. It'll be exactly like this, but behind the camera will be like this whole like giant movie set
studio.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody will ever know.
Yeah,
but
you're gonna have 5 monocle walk-in closets.
Just top hats and monocles everywhere. That's
top hats and monocles.
That's it. So I do have one more piece of news. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, before we get there, I got invited down to a kind of a very private event at a cigar lounge down in New York City.
New York City.
And yeah, didn't even think about that, Tom. And I'm going, and the last time I was in town down there and seeing this group, I was just straight up Mr. Tourist, right? So yeah. I'm down there. I had a meeting at I don't know. It was one early in the morning. I didn't have another one until late in the evening. And so I went back to the hotel, changed. I'm in shorts and a Hawaiian shirt and just played tourist.
Wow.
I go stumbling in with people. So I have gotten like 3 or 4 reminders that it's suit and tie.
Yeah, exactly. Hilarious. You're
for this event, I'm like, I don't always just wear shorts and Hawaiian shirts, guys. It was one time.
Who's this dumb yokel in the Hawaiian shirt?
2 or 3 years that we've known each other at one time, man. Come on.
I don't even think I own a Hawaiian shirt.
Well, when you get a certain weight, you just start acquiring them. They just pop out of nowhere.
It's part of the uniform. I get it.
It's part of the uniform, yeah.
Well, look, I'm wearing an old T-shirt and what looks like a bathrobe, so I got no sock.
Yeah.
I'm not wearing a bathrobe, by the way. It's my sweater. I swear. I promise.
Yeah, we went over this last week. We know he's lying.
Yeah, well,
all right. So what do we got?
Yeah. All right. So we got one more piece of news here. What
do we got next?
So for the next piece of news, David, I know you're a big fan of the soy milk. It makes up at least 90% of the liquids that you take in. So I wanted to share this. Researchers in Japan have used a soy compound to make catfish 100% female. So for all those people who say soy doesn't really affect men in certain ways, the Japanese just proved it did. So basically, they used a form of soy lecithin to change male catfish, into female catfish. Go figure. So all the look.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with those sorts of things. I'm just saying, be on the lookout for certain hormonal changes if you like soy milk. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. So women in general, women should not do too much soy. Men, there's no reason to touch the stuff. Stay away from it.
No soy.
Stay away
Men
from it
stay away from
completely.
soy
None.
altogether.
Completely.
It's like it's not even
Altogether.
a meme at this point that being called like a soy boy kind of thing. Like it's a real thing. Stay away from soy if you're a dude.
Yeah, it's real.
If you're a dude
Yeah.
and you want to stay a dude, stay away from soy. The Japanese just proved it. It's a real
Trust the science.
thing. If you're ever going to, now's the time. So look,
yeah,
it's
now's the
not
time.
going to completely make your manhood shrivel up and fall off, but it's not far off because the Japanese just did it with catfish. Just saying, it's a real thing. Look it up. I'm not making this up. So that's an interesting part of the news.
It's,
And these are the only two
All
news
right.
articles I could find that were not political. Literally everything else is political.
Japanese catfish genitalia and talking robots.
That's exactly it. That's all there is. That's all
We've
that's
got
happening in the
we've
world
got
right
the
now.
Barrel. We've got the barrel on a side. We're not scraping the bottom barrel. We got the barrel tipped on a corner and trying to get
That's it.
everything that's not political out of it.
Honestly, it's look,
Mm.
like you said before
Next
the show
week-
started. Within 3 weeks, we're gonna find out whether we're gonna have lower taxes
No,
or World War
I tell
III.
you,
I'm not saying who's gonna do what. I'm just saying it's gonna be one of those two things. I think there's nothing else happening in the news right now because of that.
it was, and the meme was afford groceries.
Groceries, not lower taxes. Same thing.
Yeah, I wonder which one's which.
I'm not-
Anyway,
I'm not judging one way or
we
the other.
have-
I'm just saying
we
World War III
have-
could be fun. At least we'll have female catfish.
and if you run out, you can make more with soybeans.
You can make more.
So you can just get them a latte with soy milk.
Yeah, just go to Starbucks and get a soy latte and make some more female catfish. That's how it works.
Yeah.
It's science.
Yeah.
It's science.
All you gotta do is feed them the thing. I'm sure there was nothing else in there. So I mean, but part of me goes, why? Why did we? I mean, is there a shortage of female catfish in Japan?
For this,
I mean,
I'll tell you why. They did that for the exact same reason. The researchers who developed the robots who talk about eating cookies and make weird facial expressions. It's
This
the
is the
same.
worst joke
It's the same
ever.
reason. They
'Cause
did
they
it
could.
because some politician paid some university millions and millions and millions of dollars to do this thing, and it happened because somebody was willing to pay for it. That's why.
Yep.
We should have been
They- you know,
researchers in some
what was
universities
that?
so we get paid
Yeah.
millions of dollars.
We could be down. Was it? What's the old saying? And I don't think it's that old, but 90% of the scientists agree with the people that are funding them.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's exactly it.
I can only think of one person in all of modern history that went against it. And I don't even remember what the hell his name was. He was the guy that blew the whistle on leaded gasoline. He's the only person that is kind of like documented through history.
Bill Nye the
like
Science Guy.
recent History. It was definitely not Bill Nye.
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
It was not Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson, PhD. I don't know.
I actually like that one. I'm gonna let it go with that one.
we're gonna end with that one.
I don't-
And that's been the show, everybody.
I don't think you can outdo that one.
that's the
So
height of my
tonight's
wit.
topic. Yes. So tonight's topic's really good because it is absolutely something that everybody struggles with. For me, it's been mostly food. mostly food. I'm like, I shouldn't have that donut. I just ate 8 of them. I should definitely not have a 9th. There's some discipline that comes into play there. So
Yeah.
let's dig in. We are it's 8:57. We did start a little late today, but you can get in there.
It's fine. We started late because of technology issues, and the video is super choppy and crappy right now. So thank you, Skype and Ecamm Live. Next week we're going to try something a little different. It'll be
Yeah.
fine. But so today's
It might be fine. Next week, just to give the heads up, next week we're thinking about letting me host the show.
oh that'll
over
be
here.
fun.
So it may be absolutely terrible.
I think that might be my
Um,
revenge for the last 4 years.
That's fine. I want to get another stream deck. I won't have it between now and next week though. But so we'll have to do things the old-fashioned way and just kind of change monitors and stuff around. But we can make it happen. We can figure it out.
Right. So Today's topic is one that, so a lot of our topics that we cover are things that I've been thinking about or have been like on the top of my mind, things that I need to improve in my life, and this was definitely one of them. Uh, so the 8 essential rules for mastering self-discipline, which is really one of the hard things for me. I have no self-control when it comes to certain things. When it comes to junk food, no self-control. Halloween time, I eat all the kids' candy. I don't tell them. I just hope they kind of don't notice that their candy dwindles quicker than it should. There are certain things I just have a problem with self-control. So came up with this list from all the research I've done, the deep depths of research, all the best research that the internet can handle, and we're gonna go over those now. So the first one is, before you can get to anything else, before you can really get into any level of self-improvement or identifying areas of discipline that you need to improve in your own life, you need to define a purpose. You need to find your why. I don't know if you've, David, are you familiar with Simon Sinek?
The name actually rings a bell, but I don't know why.
Yeah, he's amazing. So he's sort of one of these motivational speakers, and I'm sure he hates that term because his speeches are actually way, way deeper and better than just motivation. He does a lot of, like, he speaks with businesses and goes to talk to CEOs, and he advises very high level executives, but he does a lot of like these videos online about how to handle different work situations and personal situations. And his big thing is finding your why. I think he wrote a couple books on it.
Okay. Finding your why. Okay. Now it's ringing.
Exactly.
Coming back.
So really what that means is finding your purpose, finding why you're doing what it is you're trying to do, right? Like, you understand that you need to stop smoking. We'll put it that way. I don't know. Here's a random one. Stop smoking. And why are you stopping smoking? Is it because of health reasons? Is it because your wife nags you too much about smoking? Is it because it's just culturally inappropriate in a lot of places now, like work situations, things like that? Why are you stopping smoking? Let's say you need to become a better public speaker. Why? Why? Is it going to affect anything in your life if you are a better public speaker? It's going to do a lot of things, but you need to identify what those reasons are before you can actually get to the idea of what to do to achieve that goal. Because if you don't have that understanding of why you're doing something, all of the building blocks that you put in place later on are just going to fall apart because they don't have that foundation. So that's really the first step, is finding your purpose, identifying your why. I really recommend looking up Simon Sinek. I'm not trying to copy him. His work is really, really, really good. I recommend it.
And then read Jordan Peterson at the same time.
Well, yeah. I mean, you should always do that.
You should always be reading Jordan Peterson. But
have you seen that video of the lady who, she starts off the video? I think it's like a TikTok thing, but I saw it on probably Instagram, where she has like a blue wig on and like piercings and stuff, and she's like, I went to the public library and got this book, and she holds up Jordan Peterson's book, and she's like, I got this in the library because I'm not going to give him a penny, this jerk, but I want to read it just to prove everything he says is wrong. And then it does the SpongeBob 5 hours later, and like it shows her again, and she has like normal hair and like glasses. She looks like a normal librarian, and she's like, well,
yeah, I made my bed this morning.
I made my bed and I cleaned up.
Yes.
And for some reason I'm craving lobster. It was hilarious. It was so funny. But it's true. It's true. He has this bad rap because of, political correctness. But honestly, if you just read his stuff, it's really profound.
So who's that money guy? Dave
Chappelle.
I don't know, but no, Ramsey. Gordon
Ramsay.
Not Gordon Ramsay. Hold on a second. Somebody's walking into my office.
That's not a souffle.
Hold on a second. Let me find out what the daughter wants.
All right. What's the daughter want? Let's see this. All right. I'll drink to this dead air.
Okay. Did you find your phone? No. Oh. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. Bye. I'm not sure what she just asked me, but I agreed to it. So that may be my undoing. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure what just happened. So what does Gordon Ramsay have to do with?
Dave
Ramsay.
Makes
way more sense.
Dave Ramsay.
Yeah.
So I signed up for this thing that I was going to go to, and it wasn't cheap. It was like $4,500 or something. I was going to go to in Tennessee somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to go because I didn't go. but I wanted to go because Jordan Peterson was going to be there speaking.
Yeah.
And then when I found, and he wasn't going to make it, so I'm like, all right, I'm out. So I get on this damn list for Dave Ramsey, and finally his people keep calling. And when you get on that list, they're like, hey, we're having another event, blah, 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 because you're in their constant contact and their Salesforce stuff. And they're touching base with you. And I was like, dude, guys, I'm going to tell you straight up. I was only going to this thing because Jordan Peterson was there. I'm not interested with Dave Ramsey. Sorry, guys. Just take me off your list. Just put do not contact anymore. I don't need your stuff.
Yeah.
Get Jordan Peterson back, then we'll talk.
That's and hopefully you replied with that too, because I'm sure you weren't the only one.
I was on the phone with him.
Okay, good.
I was on the phone. So we've actually gotten from Jordan Peterson before he got too big in the britches to respond and react and talk with me.
He's liked the show.
Used to have, yeah, we used to get some likes and a little bit of interaction from Jordan Peterson,
which is pretty amazing.
The freaking highlight of my life right there. Well, I mean, don't tell.
Well,
my wife,
yeah, don't tell your kids. Yeah. So the first one here is define your purpose. Before you can make any changes, before you can begin to make any changes, find your why, find your purpose. Why are you trying to do these things in your life?
Oh, I wish I had a Loki helmet. I'd be like, I'm burdened with glorious purpose.
I'm surprised you don't have that tattooed, actually. That is actually David's tramp stamp. Most people don't know that.
I might put that somewhere in the background when I'm on Teams meetings with work. I'm burdened with glorious purpose.
Well, you know what you need to do is what is it? The ibex that has the similar horns that is Loki's thing. You need to get like find like a taxidermied ibex head and put it like right behind your head, just so like when you're on these meetings, it looks like you have those horns.
Yes.
And then like up above between the horns, have that like in like Norse-ish style font.
Yeah,
that'd
very
be awesome.
runic font. Yes, that would be cool. I mean, I get enough comments as it is because my office is this corner of the room over here, and so it looks back on the guitars and it looks back on the bourbon and everything. Yeah. So I get a lot of comments already.
Yeah.
But if I had I am burdened. My name's David, and I'm burdened with glorious purpose. Yeah, I think that's still the deal.
We'll make you that sign. So, to master self-discipline, you need to go through the steps, right? So that building the foundation is defining why you're trying to make these changes in your life. The second one is building your willpower. So, like anything else, like any other muscle, you use it or you lose it. Willpower is a muscle. The more you have, the more you will have. The more you use it, the more it will develop, right? So, to build this muscle, you need to exercise. You need to, one of the best ones is resist immediate gratification. I know that's a problem for some people, David, but resist immediate gratification. And we don't mean that in some kind of dirty way. I'm glad Matt Harmon's not here. He'd be laughing his ass off. But
I'm over here suppressing giggles, dude.
But it's true, though. Like,
use that muscle.
When you
use that muscle and be gratified.
Resist the gratification of using that muscle. No, like when you see, like with me, if I see a bowl of candy, maybe I shouldn't go over and immediately dig into it.
Piece of candy.
If I see
piece of candy.
I'm basically Peter Griffin when I see pieces of candy laying on the floor. Or sorry, that was not Peter Griffin. That was what's the guy's name? I can't think of it now.
I'm completely drawing a blank. I know who it is. Ooh,
James Woods.
James Woods. That's it.
Woods.
Yeah. It's right there. I kept thinking
James Woods. And it's hilarious that I knew exactly what you were talking about.
Yeah. As you should. Ooh, piece of candy. All right, yeah.
So and start small though, right? And it should be something like that. Don't maybe wait 10 minutes before digging into your pizza when it comes. I know cold pizza's not nearly as good.
2 weeks. Wait 2 weeks before you go back and buy that bottle of Weller Blue Label.
Well, or buy the bottle of Weller Blue Label and don't drink it that night. Don't drink it that night. Maybe you let it sit there for a week before you open it. So look, but the point is
ship sails.
Is start small and then gradually build up. And the more you can delay gratification on certain things, the more you can build that willpower. And that's the first step in building and using that muscle of your willpower. Because if you don't have willpower, if you can't control these base desires, you have no hope of ever improving any area of your life.
Never gratify your muscle.
Yeah, gratify your muscle in private. So step number 3, since we're going down that road apparently, is harness the 3-minute rule, David. That was literally the title of this bullet point. So harness the 3-minute rule. And what do I mean by
I
that?
seen the title of the show and I'm like, I can handle it. Anything he throws at me, I can handle. And now I'm wondering if you're doing this on purpose.
So the
You're
3-minute
bored
rule
and
is
it's
so the 3-minute rule isn't
That's
what you think it is. It sounds like it after the last weird tangents. But basically, so
yes.
we've all had those days when you wake up and you're just not in the mood to do any work. You're like, I'm not feeling it. I can't do anything. I just want to sit here and just do anything else but what I need
There's
to
a
do.
song like
We've
that.
all been there, right?
Yes.
So the 3-minute rule is, okay, take the hardest part of your day that is on your list of things to do and give it 3 minutes. Dedicate 3 minutes to just doing this. And what that's going to do is, we know that's not nearly enough time to actually get anything done. But what that's going to do is that's going to get you in the mode of actually working. Once you're sitting down
Mm.
and you start getting into the groove of working and finishing this task, chances are you're going to go beyond that 3 minutes because you can't just stop there. You're in the groove. You're in the mode. You got to keep going until it's done.
So,
And that's what it's all about. The 3-minute rule is not about limiting the amount of work you're doing to three minutes. It's about actually just setting a time limit. It's a short time limit. And at the end of the 3 minutes, if you're still not feeling it, guess what? Walk away for 5 minutes, come back, give yourself another 3 minutes to finish that task. But most likely, that next time at least, you're going to sit down, you're going to finish the task beyond that 3 minutes. So it's kind of a way of tricking your brain, but at the same time, telling yourself it's not that long. After 3 minutes, if I'm not feeling it, I'm going to get up and do something else for a few minutes before I come back and finish the task. So
that's me on strat planning. Like I hate them. I hate it with a passion. It's one of those things you do that don't actually do anything at all.
Yeah.
And but you got to keep on up to date apparently. So my boss told me, he's like, I want you to update this weekly. Why? It doesn't change a lot from week to week. I mean, it just
Yeah.
seems. But I on Mondays I sat down and I have discipline when it comes to doing things like that. Now, once I do them, starting them is a whole different story.
Right.
Because I want to make sure that they understand that they're asking me to do is stupid. And
but you can't
not only
communicate
should
that to your boss,
I not
David.
be. Oh, I do. I do. And not only should I not be doing this, but it doesn't bring actual real value to anyone. And if it does bring value to anyone, that person shouldn't have a job. Simple as that.
Yeah.
We need to be more efficient. And by doing efficient, if we stop doing dumb shit that we shouldn't be doing.
Well, I know you're a fan of effectiveness over efficiency. But here's the thing. If you can find the perfect combination of effectiveness and efficiency, don't try and fix what ain't broken. That reminds me of my very first manager role. I was probably 18 at the time. The very first time I managed any place, it was like an assistant manager, and I had a manager above me. And my job was to make the weekly schedules for this location and for all the different employees. And I talked to everybody. I found out what everybody liked to do, where they wanted to be, what times of day they like to work. And I came up with the perfect schedule. Everybody agreed to it. And in fact, everybody said, yeah, can we just keep this all the time? So I'm like, yeah. And guess what? I caught heat for not changing the schedule every single week. And I'm like, but this is what people like to do. People know how to do X, Y, and Z if they have to work a different time of day, if something comes up. But overall, people like this. People want regularity. People want to come back and they want to know what they're doing, when they're doing it, and have that sort of schedule week after week. And like, oh, you can't do that. Why not? Because we have to change it all the time. Well, why? What we just do. Why? Because it has to be done.
Yeah,
you are a moron, aren't you? You're a complete and total moron.
You can't go back and answer point number one. Why? Can't find your why.
Right.
You can't explain it to me. I don't want you arguing with me that it should be done.
Exactly.
If you can't tell me why I shouldn't be. So when I transferred, or not transferred really, but when I took a job with Hard Fire over there, they were heavy in the clean agent fire suppression world. I was a fire alarm guy. They're big difference of the two markets. And they would do some things. They're like, always do this. And I would say, all right, why? And at first, at first they thought I was arguing with them.
Right.
Like, just do it. You're just a fire. I'm like, whoa, slow down, bud. I'm not saying I won't do it. I just want to know what the consequences are if I forget.
Well, then that's it. That's exactly it. When you ask why, and this is one thing I was trying to keep in mind with my kids too. In most cases, when they ask me why repeatedly, it's not because they're trying to argue with me. It's because they genuinely want to know why.
They
like
want to understand. They want to understand.
Right. And that's true with most people. So look, I never get mad when somebody asks me why, unless I know for a fact they're just fucking with me. But
nobody's ever done that.
You should never be afraid to ask why. And if you have a boss that gets pissed when you ask them why, and you genuinely want to know why, you're not just arguing. I mean, maybe you're in the wrong place.
Yeah, I get that. So I'm a big fan of being able to answer why. So when I tell somebody something, there's a freaking reason.
Right.
And if you ask me why, I'm going to give you the full detailed. You might not even have to ask me. I might go down the story and just tell you anyway and save you the time so that you don't have to feel like you're challenging me. I'm going to explain to you why.
In fact,
at the end of it, you're going to be like,
yeah, I've had conversations with you, and I was asking myself internally, did I ask why? What's happening here? So yeah, it's
yeah,
it's number 3,
and it comes from when I used to ask why. And it got taken so out of context. So now I don't want somebody to have to feel like, they're attacking me or contradicting me just because they asked the question why. I'm going to give you my reasoning behind it. And, I've had people come back and go, what if you just do this? I'm like, well, son of a bitch. You know what? You're right. Let's do that. Let's give it a try.
And tell me if you've ever had this. I've had, many teams under me at different times in different parts of my career. And I've had a few people, not very many, but I've had a few people who will just mindlessly do whatever they're told at any given point. And I actually respect them less than people who would come out and say, well, why are we doing this? Or what does that do? Or why is that happening? But people who they're okay, you tell me to do it, I'm going to do it. It might not make sense, but I'm going to do it. No, ask me why. I want you to ask me why, because I want you to understand what's happening.
Be engaged.
Yes.
Not just yes, man.
Right. That's
okay.
Nobody wants that.
Okay, boss. You want me to make dead?
All right. So number 3 was the 3-minute rule, which is not what David was implying in the first place. It is basically just
I implied nothing.
Taking the hardest part of your day when you're not feeling motivated, dedicating 3 minutes to it. If you're still not into the job at the end of that 3 minutes, go take a walk for 5 minutes, come back, give it another 3 minutes, and eventually you can get to the point where you're working beyond that 3 minutes to complete that task. So it's a motivational tool.
So to summarize, spend 3 minutes on the hardest part.
That's what she said. All right, number 4. Maybe this can also go to number 4. Optimize your environment. I'm sure David can turn that around into an interesting task.
No,
interesting.
But this is before you even start on this one.
Yeah, by the way, coming from a guy with guitars and bourbon and cigars all around him at any given point.
But if you walk into my office,
yeah,
I have everything is exactly where it's supposed to be.
It is. It is.
My desk is organized. I mean, there's a little bit of clutter because I just got back. I've been gone for a week, so I got a little mail to sort through. But the table for the printer, everything's there. Everything's organized back here. The room stays. I've got a throw that goes over top of the couch. I got a throw that usually goes over top of this chair when it's back where it belongs. This room is organized. I have in my basement, I have the Peloton treadmill. I have the Peloton bike thing, which I don't ride that thing. I've got weights. I've got a power bench down there and some other things. Clearly, I don't use them as much as I should. One of the reasons I don't do it is because it hurts me to go downstairs in my basement because my kids go down there. They make a god-awful mess and they leave it everywhere. Right now, over top of the mats where like you can do stretches and things like that is a tent. There's a
well, sure, why not? That's where you'd put a tent
set up.
Makes sense
in like the workout space. So so this whole organizing your space and making it, It literally, like, if this room got messy or something, I would sit over here and I would probably not understand why I was having such a bad day until I turned around and was like, I need to clean this up. I need to run a vacuum. I got to do this stuff. And then I could sit right back down and just be extremely productive.
Well, that's it. So number 4 is optimize your environment. And the point is most people are easily distracted. Look, most of us are. It's very rare. Everybody thinks like, no, I can be dedicated. I can sit down and just do. Most people are not that way, even though they tell themselves they are. So when you have distractions around you at all points, that's a problem. So what you need to do is you need to understand that your surroundings influence your habits, right? So you need to.
That's why you start with making your bed.
So yeah, like Jordan Peterson says,
make your bed.
Make your bed, like Jordan Peterson says. But remove distractions if that's a problem. If you're the kind of person who, let's say you work from home and you got a TV over here and you got a big bookshelf back here and you got all kinds of stuff to do over here. Maybe if you're easily distracted, that's not the best environment for you. Maybe you are better in an office environment. Or maybe if you, in the middle of a call, you start talking about your guitarist behind you.
Usually the beginning of our
I'm kidding.
It's usually the beginning of the calls and other people ask about them. But in this room, there is no television.
I've noticed that. Yeah, you don't have a TV in there.
There is no plans to put a television here. This is my space. Now I do lease some to my own sanity here for work. I could work from the dining room table out there, but this is my spot over here for work. The rest of the room, this is my escape. The last effing thing I want in my space is a damn television.
Right. So I'm actually a little bit different from that. I swear I probably have some form of ADHD, and I'm definitely on the spectrum somewhere, because I actually need like a TV and a YouTube video and the radio happening at the same time that I'm sitting down reading a book or writing something in depth. I just need that background information happening at the same time, because if it's too quiet, I can't focus on what I'm doing. I'm a little bit different in that way, but yeah.
Yeah. So it depends on the task for me. Like if I'm sitting down and I have to hammer out something that's a lengthy wording on like typing, I've got over in this corner over here, I've got a Bose, whatever, nice little speaker. And what I like about it is it connects directly to my Wi-Fi. I tell it what to play, but it doesn't. And the difference is, if you've ever connected to a Bluetooth speaker, every text message, email, phone call, everything interrupts it. This doesn't do it. It just keeps on playing. It doesn't care because it's directly connected to my Amazon Music account.
Exactly.
So I love it. So I put it here. I just crank it's crazy because it can go from Raining Blood from Slayer or something to Pachelbel's Canon in D minor, right? I mean, so it can go from one end of the spectrum to the other in here, and those I don't mind.
Yeah,
but it sets very low. It's in the background, and go away. But most of my work is communicating verbally with people.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And
so you need that sort of quiet
the team call. So
in the zone.
So
yeah, I get it.
So and my zone's right there. I'm communicating with them. So I try to ask the kids not to get the dogs barking, but
that's a problem. That's actually one thing that does bother me. Again, I'm sure it has something weird to do with the way my brain is miswired, malfunctioning. But if there's like a repeated noise, like a dog barking, or even like the regular pattern of a clock ticking, that throws me completely out of my game. But if I have like an audiobook going, or like a movie I've seen a million times going in the background with explosions and things happening, that actually puts me more in the zone because it drowns everything out. So
yeah, I'll do that when I'm driving.
You do that. You have videos on when you're driving, which doesn't seem safe.
Yeah, I put videos on. I could care less. I only ever do it with things I've seen 100 times. And I don't hear very well. So I crank the volume up, because when I'm in my car by myself, I can crank the volume up, and I don't have anybody, Nikki, sitting next to me going, oh my God, why is the TV so loud? Why do you listen to that show? Because I'm deaf, woman. I can't hear. And you over there talking, and she loves, this is the new thing, is Penny will go to the sunroom over there, and she'll have her iPad and the volume cranked on it. Noah will be in the kitchen or the dining room on a phone or iPad cranked. Nikki will be on the other end of the couch with her phone cranked. And here I am for the handful of times across a week that I sat in front of a television and watch anything, and I'm just I can't hear a damn thing.
You need those headphones. You
And I
need
start,
those old people headphones connected to your TV.
doctor recommended TV ears.
Yeah, that's it. Hilarious.
I knew what you're.
So my mother-in-law does
Yeah.
that, and she loves it apparently. So number 4 is optimize your environment. Number 5 is, and this is one that I think we're all aware of. Again, I'm sure David could take this to a completely inappropriate place. Focus on small, consistent gains. So don't focus on completing giant tasks all at once. Focus on small wins every single day. So I forget who it was, but I was listening to somebody speak a few days ago, and they said a phrase that I love, which is perfection is the enemy of the good. Because when you're always striving for perfection, always striving for reaching that ultimate goal, you're missing all the small wins along the way. And sometimes you don't need to focus on perfection. Sometimes you need to focus on, this is good, everybody's going to love it, let's move on. So focus on daily wins, small wins. In fact, David, you and I have done shows on road mapping. And part of building a roadmap is you do have those long, big, ultra long-term goals. But along the way, you have stepping stones. You have KPIs that you can reach on a daily, weekly, monthly basis.
Key performance indexes.
Sorry, yes,
and
you got to drink to that one.
And we have to drink now.
Because and those small wins along the way will lead you to that ultimate goal at the end. But if you're always focused on that one big goal, guess what? The fact that you're not constantly reaching that goal every single day can be discouraging, and it can be distracting, and eventually leads you to quit and go do something else because you haven't hit this big goal.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? You need to
I
hit
had
the
a
small
salad the
goals
other
before you
day,
get to the big
and
one.
I'm still fat. It's ridiculous.
Well, I don't know sports very well, but I kind of think of baseball, right? When you get a home run, that's great. You're going all the way around. But
That's
that
when
doesn't
they
always
shoot from
happen.
outside of the 3-point line.
But that doesn't always happen. Sometimes you only kick through the goalpost a little bit, and you don't get the home run. So you have to go to first, second, third base, and eventually, she'll slap you in the face before you get all the way home. But eventually you're going to get there, and you're going to live a happy life.
And you're going to hit that ball right over top of the net, and it's going to bounce.
That's it. So
we're just trying to see how many sports we can all play
I'm
together.
I'm not a sports ball guy. But the point is, you need to focus on the small wins, not just those big goals. So that also plays a big role in building discipline in the way that you view your life and how you execute things in your life.
Yes.
Good feedback. Good comeback, David. All right.
That just ended, and I was like,
yes.
Shit, he made a good point. I got nothing. Yes. I got nothing. Yeah. There goes my interview with being on the nightly news.
There you go.
That
Yes.
story was sad. Yes.
I concur. Back to you.
The bus full of nuns being melted down. Nun soup.
Soup.
That's from Short Circuit, by the way.
Ah, great movie. You know what?
What if he gets out there and melts down a bus full of nuns? How would you like to write the headline on that, huh? Nun soup?
That's one that I'm surprised they haven't tried to remake, but I'm glad they haven't. Because Short Circuit was a perfect movie.
It was a great movie.
Yeah.
So I just rewatched the Blade trilogy, and they just got worse over time.
They did. I internally I tell myself that I like the one with Ryan Reynolds the best because I like Ryan Reynolds, but they kept getting so bad. They kept getting worse.
Yeah. So I completely forgot that Ryan Reynolds was in Blade Trinity or Trilogy, whatever the hell they call it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Trinity. And the premise was bad. It was like the whole movie, it's okay. Here's how we're going to tie this into work. Okay.
Okay.
We're going to
How are we going to tie? Well, this is the
into
premise of the show. It's all leading up to talking about Blade Trinity.
Yes, and that's what we're getting at. The whole movie.
Pay your taxes
everybody
is
was
the point of the show.
No, don't do that. The whole movie, people are busy. but they are not productive.
No, there's stuff
Like,
happening. There's stuff
like,
happening all the time in those movies.
There's just it's just everything's, there's explosions and all this stuff and all the things happening, and it's as if there was no solid plot, so they just had to have all these plot devices planted to blow up into the next section because it was so weak.
Yeah, it's basically the Michael
Dracula's
Bayism
back, but
happening earlier before Michael Bay.
That's the director. Yeah, that's the director I was thinking about, Michael Bay. It
Yeah.
was like, all right, there's not a lot of storyline here. We're just going to blow shit up and get into the next part.
Exactly.
The part that really got me is like, we're going to call him Drake now. Apparently he goes by Drake now.
Well, because Dracula is too on the
you.
nose. They had to go with Drake. Nobody will
Yeah.
notice.
They went with
He's
Drake.
he's either an immortal
Like, he
vampire.
gave a shit.
He's either an immortal vampire or he's a rapper. Nobody will know.
Yeah.
It's one of the two.
Yeah, no. It was at that point I'm like, man, this is not as good as I remember.
Oh,
But
it's
I
not.
got through all three of them.
The funny thing
The
is,
first one was that was Prime Video. That was Prime Movie right there.
so the funny thing is Ryan Reynolds' role in Blade Trinity is what got him the role in Wolverine Origins, where he played the first Deadpool, and that's what got him the role in playing Deadpool now. So he actually got Deadpool now because he played whatever character he was in Blade Trinity.
So when I was talking to Nikki, I was like, he plays the same character.
It's just
She's
Ryan
like,
Reynolds all the way
it
through.
might not be the different. It might not be the same name. It's the same character.
It's exactly the same character. It's exactly the same character. So somehow that goes into number 5, which was focus on small wins, small goals. Number 6.
See? No, I can't tie it together.
No.
Never mind.
Number 6, align your
That was just a
efforts.
rant about Blade.
Yeah. I think at this point you just want to talk about Blade Trinity.
I'm done.
Number 6 is align your efforts with your energy. Right? So we all know what time of day we're going to feel in the mood to do work. Some of us feel it first thing in the morning when we get to the office, and it tapers off throughout the day. Some of us like to start the day easy, and we get maybe around noon or the end of the day when we feel like we're really in the zone of getting work done. What you need to do is you need to schedule your day around when you know you're going to feel the most motivated. Unfortunately, most of us are procrastinators at nature. I mean, I am. Most people are. We're like, you know what? That's a big task. That's kind of a pain in the neck. I'm going to put that off as long as humanly possible. Unfortunately, by the time you actually feel like doing work, or the time that it comes around to get that work done, you're not feeling it, because your optimal time to get that work done with your energy level where it should be is long past. So be honest with yourself. This is a big part of it. Be honest with yourself about when you know you're going to feel that most energetic, the best, most optimal time to get work done, and then schedule your most trying tasks, your most difficult tasks around that time period. Because smaller tasks can get done any other time. Those big tasks need your focus, need your energy.
Yeah. So just for everybody that I work with, stop scheduling meetings from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. on
a Friday.
On Fridays.
So here's this is one of my pet peeves. So I will never, unless there's no other time available, never deliberately set a meeting before 10 a.m. That's just rude. Because from 8 to 10, people are sitting down trying to get stuff done. They have a ton of work on their plate throughout the day, and that's the time when I personally like to sit down and organize all my thoughts, get the big stuff done, get it out of the way, like I was just talking about. And then after 10 p.m., it's double digits. It's before noon, so you're actually there's a lot of nerdy stuff I can get into about how your blood sugar's in the right state, the right frame to get work done. Your mind's in the right place to get work done. Between 10 and noon is really the best time to get the most interpersonal work done, frankly. So I never schedule meetings before that. But also, after 4 p.m., I don't schedule meetings, because at the end of the day, nobody wants to be there. Nobody's focusing. Nobody's paying attention to what you're doing, especially on a Friday. I try not to schedule meetings at all on Fridays, because frankly, people have spring fever every Friday. Nobody wants to talk.
Noon's my cutoff.
That's it.
Noon is my cutoff. We all do so much work throughout the rest of the week. I guarantee you, everybody that I deal with, they have their hours in by noon on Friday.
Guaranteed.
So I don't
People are checked
schedule
out.
meetings. Yeah. And my clients, my end user, or the people that buy the product, whatnot, they don't want to hear from you what that. I've got a boss. I keep telling you. He's like, no, Dave, you just got to take him to breakfast. You don't have to take him to dinner.
Don't take them out for,
Like,
for drinks and have fun with them. Don't build these
yeah, don't take them out for
relationships with
drinks
them.
and things.
Take them out
Don't
for
build
breakfast.
good relationships. Go interrupt their day when they are the busiest and treat them to freaking eggs and toast.
Yeah, at the point of the
bent,
day when they
dude.
want to be doing work, take them to IHOP.
Yeah.
They love that.
Yeah. It's like, here, I've got this deadline I need to go get taken care of. I've got all these emails from last night that are over the evening, and all these fires that I need to put out.
They want to
But
stop
let
for
me
eggs.
go have let me go get some. Let me go to Scramblers with you, and then after that, I can not write you a single PO because you pissed me off.
Exactly.
Because you brought me to get eggs.
Yeah, any
How
vendor
about we have a happy hour.
Any vendor partner who says, "Hey, you want to go have a breakfast meeting?" I'm immediately saying, you know what? I don't have time on my schedule. I can't do it.
I don't have time. For
I will lie out my ass.
think we're
Even if I have
gonna
nothing else going on,
yeah.
I will lie not to go have breakfast.
No, I'm not going to do that. So, so I did, like the good little boy that I am, I asked a couple people, and I asked them like this. I was like, do you think we could do this meeting in the morning over breakfast? Or do you think we could do this meeting in the morning? No, David, that's my busiest time. That's kind of what I thought. I just wanted to check. And it's every single response that I got back was, fuck off.
Even lunch meetings. It's like, I have stuff to do. I work through the lunch time.
Yeah. A lot of people do that. There occasionally, if I cater food into their office, I can get them to sit down and spend that time with me.
That's it.
Most of them have their laptops doing other things. They just get continuing education credits from me and a free meal.
That's it.
But when I actually want to get real dollars, it is drinks or happy hour, a nice dinner. And I'm not talking like, for this guy, like Longhorn is a nice place. For me, Longhorn is the place you stop at the airport because it's the best they've got.
I like an overcooked steak as much as the next guy. It's fine. You know what? If you got some bourbon to wash it down, even cheap bourbon, I like an overcooked steak.
Of the chains, I'll give Longhorn the tip of the hat.
Yeah.
That they do. Every one of them I've ever had has been overcooked, but
I like overcooked. Well, they have to overcook it because it's C-grade meat. It's basically like a horse they found on the side of the road, but it's not bad.
But you go and drop, business. I did a meal over in Connecticut.
Now I'm gonna get sued from Longhorn, by the way.
Then they should make better food. No, actually, of all of them, I do that of the chain stuff. I like them the best as far as the steaks go.
Yeah, it's not terrible.
Crazy enough, Texas Roadhouse. I prefer.
I do like Texas
Roadhouse.
I like Texas Roadhouse.
And the butter and the whole
the garlic butter. It's pretty good, right?
Going around no, it's like a honey butter
or honey butter. Yeah.
That's going around the internet thing right now is just freaking hilarious, but we won't get into that here.
No.
But I did a thing over in New Haven. I think the bill was like $2,900. And
you heard about that
at that table. No, this was back. This was before.
All right, back in the day.
I didn't hear a single peep about it. You know why? Because there was probably $7, $8, maybe $9 million worth of work sitting at that table.
Funny how that happens, huh?
More.
When you actually how to sell and talk to people. Guess what happens?
Yeah. I'm not sitting here begging somebody for a $30,000 sale or a $30,000 order. I'm not asking for a damn thing. None of us are talking business at the table, and I think we ended up walking out of there and commitments by like the end of the week in close to I think it was around 8, and I think there was more that came after it.
Yeah.
So, and it was multiple parties, multiple players from different companies. So it was a lot of people. So we introduced a lot of people together at one time, and it just worked. But Lord forbid we trade $2,900 for $8 million.
So
if I invest in somebody and they're like, hey, you give me $2,900, I'm gonna give you $8 million. I'm gonna be like, how many times can I do that?
So rants aside, you need to align your efforts with
Yeah.
energy. You need to understand at what time of the day you're going to have that because we all know when that is. We don't always like to admit it. We don't always like to own up to it because we like to procrastinate. It's just built into our brains.
Yeah.
But be honest with yourself. Identify when you know you're going to have the energy to achieve those big goals and align your schedule accordingly. That's number 6. Number 7, David.
I feel like that one should have been read to us by a person in one of those Rastafari hats and a tie-dye t-shirt.
Align your energy. Oh, dude,
Or a person that's just straight up doing yoga.
If we want to go full hippie, I can do some hippie energy shows, man. I can talk the shit out of some hippie energy.
We're gonna unlock your chakras. And the only reason I even know that word is because I watched Avatar: The Last Airbender.
I know about
and that's
chakras.
it.
You're not going to talk to me about chakras. I know all about the chakras.
I'm not going to talk to you about chakras. All I know is banana onion juice from The Last Airbender. That's it.
So number 7.
That's all I know about it.
Number 7. Actually, number 7 I think is my favorite one. Number 7 I think is the most motivational one out of all of these. So again, I know we're pretty far on the list. This is the 8 essential rules for mastering self-discipline. And number 7 out of those 8 I think is my favorite. Number 7 is visualize the cost of inaction. That's one, right?
That is
Consider.
Man, I'm really glad now that I didn't read this list before.
I'm really glad I don't read your agendas. No.
Well, no, I've seen the topic of it, and I just my first day back. I've been gone all week, so
you've been a little busy. You have an excuse.
And then I had to drop the wife off at the airport, and then I had to take the daughter to soccer. So by the time I got back, I mean, it was like I came in here and I had the room already set up. I came in, sat down, turned this on, and that was it.
So visualize the cost of inaction, right? Consider the negative outcomes of not
right there. That is just
achieving
gold.
Those goals. Imagine the consequences of staying stagnant. It's my favorite one of the 8.
So this plays into one of my favorite sayings, and I use this a lot, especially when people hem haul and they don't want to make a decision.
Mm-hmm.
Taking too long to decide is a decision. Taking too long to decide
That's it.
Is no decision.
Inaction
is a no decision.
Inaction is action. That's it. That's exactly.
It.
Think about that in every area of your life, not just this motivational nonsense we're talking about. Think every part of your life. Inaction is action. When you don't do something, whether it's from procrastination, laziness, or you just get too busy, guess what? You show me somebody's actions, I can tell you their priorities. That's what it comes down to. Yep. And it comes down to every part of your life. I mean, we could go off on any tangent. Let's say you have
we do
gambling. Show me what you're doing. I can show you your priorities. Gambling. Let's say hanging out with scumbags after work. They're old buddies. Guess what? I can show you your priorities. You have $1 million idea in front of you, but you say, I can't do it. I don't, In the meantime, you're watching.
I can't do it.
In the meantime, you're watching 5 hours of TV in the evenings. I can show you your priorities.
You're watching 5 hours of TV, or you're playing.
Madden or
3
some
or 4 hours
football
of fucking
game. Video game.
So that is something that's got me. Is I see all these videos of the wives and the guys and everything, and they're like, "Come to bed, honey," and she's clearly signaling that she wants to exercise some muscles.
And he's playing some video game.
And he's like, after this round,
what are his priorities? You can look. Inaction is action. You can tell somebody's priorities by what they're doing.
Yeah, not that I play video games at all anymore, but how fast? Like, bye.
Right, exactly.
I probably would say bye. I'd be like,
don't even say bye. I can need mid-sentence and just click out.
Yeah, I'm out. I just let it. Actually, I wouldn't do that. I would just let the controller lay and just be the dead bot in the corner that just keeps getting killed.
That's it.
Over and over. And over.
That's it.
And sorry about your luck, guys.
But when it comes to motivation and comes to self-discipline, imagining or visualizing the cost of inaction. I love that. And here's something that I heard somebody talk about a while ago. I don't remember who said it. This is not an original thought, but I'm kind of taking it as my own because I can't remember who said it. when it comes
You
to
guys
the
heard it
idea,
here. Wes is the first person to ever have this idea.
this is my completely original idea. Nobody else has ever thought of it before. When it comes to the idea of entrepreneurship, right? So I'm taking a few steps to build businesses. There are a couple things I'm working on. I got some irons in the fire, and the idea of I'm not making super great income right now because I'm building these other things. I'm putting some other things on hold to build these things over here. I've worked in the corporate world. I can always go back to the corporate world. That's the thing. I can always go back to the corporate world if I ever change my mind. Tomorrow, I can go out and apply for a job, and I promise I can get back in the corporate life in some way or another.
Mhm.
Which means with entrepreneurship, with building these businesses, let's say they crash. Let's say they crash and burn, and every single one's a dud idea, and I just don't realize it yet. My worst case scenario is everyone else's normal. Right?
Yeah.
My worst case scenario, if these things fail, is everyone else's doing pretty good in life.
It's everyone else's daily grind.
Right, exactly. That's my worst case scenario. So I think it's worth the sacrifice to take a year or two to build these things, because how often you get the opportunity to do that, right? But at the same time, inaction being action and visualizing the cost of inaction, let's say there's this opportunity over here, and I say, I'm too busy, or I got to play this video game, or I got to go watch that football game over there, or I got to go do this thing over here. Well, okay, that's fine. What's going to happen if you do this, the same thing you do every day, versus if you go do that thing that could go someplace else and be much more fruitful?
Yeah.
What's the cost of inaction? And that's a big one. This is definitely my favorite of the 8.
Yeah, the dropping kind of dropping sports. I will watch Ohio State play if I can. What that means is I don't have anything else going on. If the kids don't, there's none of this, there's nothing to be done around the house, or it could just be on in the background. Once I gave up, I'll tell you, that's probably one of the best things I ever gave up was the sports, watching sports nonstop. It was literally one of the best things that ever happened to me, was just kind of letting that go. And it happened when Throws of Parks out there in San Francisco started his whole ordeal. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna walk away from this. This is not what sports is supposed to be. Sports is supposed to be an entertainment. And then being separated from it allows you to see what kind of a distraction it really is. And that feeds into the, where your attention is where your mind is, where your attention is where your heart is, and so on and so forth. You're going to do what you want to do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, going back to the hippy dippy energy talk, and I've mentioned this in a previous show, I don't remember which one, which was the idea that where your energy, where your attention goes, your energy flows. What you focus on is where you send your energy. And you're totally right. So I've never been a sports guy. So I've always kind of been on the outside looking in on that whole thing, recognizing, look, I could be athletic if I wanted to be. I'm a pretty fit dude overall. I have no hand-eye coordination, but aside from that, I could be somewhat athletic if I tried to be. But the point is,
you could be the next Mark Hamill.
I could be the next who's an incredibly unathletic guy. I don't know. I could be the next.
I went with Mark Hamill because it's a big name, and some people are like going, "Oh yeah, Mark Hamill."
No, I think Mark Hamill. I think he drank too much soy milk. Now he turned into a female catfish. So
don't drink soy. Don't eat soy. You'll end up as a female catfish. The science, if you actually follow the science, that's what the science says, is you're going to turn into a female catfish.
It's science.
I didn't even think about that. Oh, it's oh my God, it just got even better.
It's science, man. Trust the science. Trust the science. But so I can
does
go
it have soy milk?
rants.
No, I don't want to be a Japanese female catfish. Hey, can you the very first chance I get to use that, the person on the other side of the
they have no idea what you're talking about.
Fuck is wrong with you?
Who gave David LSD again? What's who?
Oh man, I'm just visualizing what's going to happen when somebody asks me, "Oh, do you want this or soy milk?" Soy milk. I'm from West
So
Virginia.
you say
guys. I can't
suey.
pronounce it.
It's like suey is what you say.
Soy.
Soy.
I don't. Wait. Anyway,
Yeah.
they're going to ask me, "Oh, you want this?" And I'm like, "No, I don't want to be a Japanese female catfish." And this poor barista slash coffee maker is just going to go,
What?
"What?
Exactly. There'd be this real awkward
The
silence.
science." I have a article that shows that if you take too much soy,
you'll turn into a female
you'll turn into a
catfish.
Japanese female catfish.
We'll have to send that to Shannon Black.
Oh yes. See, that is how what you use selective phrasing in an article to make it say what you want.
That's exactly it. So anyway, I could go on a whole rant about sports, but again, that's a little bit off topic from number 7. Visualize the
like
cost of
coaching.
inaction.
Oh yeah, I like coaching, and that's this okay. So I've said this before, going back to this was Aristotle or something like that. That said, those of you who, if you don't want to be involved in politics, then you are destined to be ruled by evil men.
That's it.
Paraphrase there. It's close.
Inaction,
So
because
it
inaction
is,
is action. Yeah.
That is why I will at some point get into politics, but I don't want to do. I don't have a lifelong dream to be in politics very long at all. But I want to show as an example, what a good guy can do.
Well, so there are
politics.
examples of this throughout history. So what was the Aristotle quote again?
That'll be my thing. I have never pissed on a stripper.
I am not a Japanese female catfish.
I am not
so,
a Japanese.
What was the Aristotle
catfish.
quote again?
Men who do not participate in politics are destined to be ruled by evil men.
That's basically another way of saying the old phrase, all it takes for evil to prevail is for good men to do nothing, which comes back to inaction is action. You need to constantly visualize the cost of your inaction.
Cost of inaction.
That's it.
That is damn good. We could have done a whole show on that bullet point.
That's the funny thing. So
easily.
all of these shows where I have these like numbered lists, I kind of feel like we should do at some point break them down and do a whole show on each point.
In a series.
Because each one of these could be a whole show, especially this one. I mean, I love this point.
This one. Gee, Christmas, man. You and I, just the rants alone can the rants and the tangents that we could go on through that one is just it's very in depth.
Yeah. So number 7.
But it rings true. It's very powerful. It's very demure.
But if you also look
that was
at
a joke, that was a mean thing.
But if you also look back and see how this ties back to other points above, which like optimize your environment. If you're in an environment that's full of distractions, maybe you should keep in mind the cost of playing that video game or watching that TV show instead of getting your work done and doing what needs to be done. What's going to happen if you
of not just, let's say you have a room that you can take a TV out of.
Yeah.
Your action should be removing that effing TV.
Well,
what's the cost of not removing that TV?
Most people, look, let's say most people will sit down and binge watch a whole season of, I don't know, whatever TV show, Arrested Development on Netflix. And because it's funny, they've watched it 12 times, but they'll binge watch it again because that's just where their comfort zone is. What are you going to get out of that? How's it going to change your life? It's not. You're not going to get anything out of it. What's the cost-benefit analysis of watching that versus actually getting shit done that you need to get done? You're going to be so much further ahead. Honestly, it's funny. If you talk to like very, very high-level people, David, you said you're getting ready to go to a meeting with some people at a certain cigar lounge, and dress codes, very high-level people. I want you to do me a favor, David. Do me a favor. When you go to this meeting, ask those people roughly how many hours of TV per week do they watch? I'll bet they're all under 1 hour. Ask them how many hours of video game they play per month. I'll bet most of them will say zero, none. They don't do it.
Yeah.
You know why? Most people at very high levels aren't sitting down binge watching TV. They're not playing video games. They're not reading comic books. They are focused on business, getting shit done, and because they understand the cost of what happens if they don't do those things. This number 7, focus on the cost of inaction, visualize the cost of inaction. They understand that to a deeper level than most people ever will.
Yeah. This doesn't mean that you're working 24/7.
No, it doesn't mean you don't have an escape.
If you go to burnout, so
But your priorities
the cost of
are
inaction
different.
could also be, the cost of inaction could be not taking a break, not stepping back, not getting separation, not being able to recharge.
Well, yeah,
those things are in there as well.
So I'm not talking about like hustle porn. I'm not talking about those people like certain online influencers who say, "Oh yeah, work until 2 a.m. and get up at 5 a.m. and do an hour of
$287 billion Elon Musk he's like, I sleep on the floor in my factory.
Right.
You should too.
So I'm not talking about the hustle porn people. That's moronic. I'm talking about actual real life people getting shit done. And guess what? They also understand the benefits of taking, an hour walk in the middle of the day for no reason. Getting away from their desk, doing this, doing that.
Yeah.
They understand. But at the same time, their priorities are different in that they probably don't know who the biggest pop stars are because they don't give a shit. They have more important stuff to talk about. They probably don't know.
I have no clue.
They probably don't know who the biggest athletes in X, Y, or Z sports are because they don't give a shit. They have more important stuff to do. It's about priorities.
I know a couple of names of Ohio State players, and my wife just landed in Orlando. Nice. I know a couple names of players from Ohio State.
Yeah.
I don't really know who else is doing anything. I don't have or what team they play for.
Yeah.
You know what? I do rub elbows with a couple athletes here and there. I still don't even know what teams they play for.
Well, it's funny.
I can tell you more about the cigars and things like that.
Yeah.
And like everything else except that part of it.
Yeah.
And, one of the guys I've hung out with for a while now, for a year and a half, 2 years, we met somebody who's actually in marketing, and we were sitting there talking, and we ended up on my job, and my buddy goes, until tonight, I had no clue what you did. It's like, because we don't ask, we kind of have it's an unspoken rule is we don't ask.
You don't talk business in certain places.
Like, we don't ask the question, what do you do? What do? We smoke cigars and drink bourbon with good friends.
Right.
That's what we do.
What do we do? We get shit done. Let's have a cigar.
And then if there's something comes up out of that, then we go do that. And usually we do it very well.
Yeah. So visualize the cost of inaction definitely ties back to the idea
that is just amazing.
I know.
Amazing topic. Amazing bullet point.
I want that. I want a T-shirt
West.
that just visualize the cost of inaction. I think that's definitely my favorite. So I'm hesitant to move on to number 8. Number 8 is it's a good way to end it after visualize the cost of inaction. Reward yourself appropriately. So this is one that not enough people do, and I'm guilty of this myself. Look, because here's the thing. I'm not a sports guy. I'm not the kind of guy who's going to go out randomly and go do shit. Because my idea of a reward is getting something done. When I'm having fun on my own, if I'm left to my own devices, my kids and my wife are out of the house for some reason, guess what? I'm still doing stuff like this. I'm researching marketing and advertising, and I'm looking at blogs, and I'm probably building a website for some business that's never going to happen. Because that's what I do for fun. That's how I reward myself. In fact, I have to stop myself from doing those things when I actually have to get real work done. But for some people, rewarding themselves could be getting that really nice cigar. For very high level people, it could be maybe they're going to get that new car or get that boat. Noah Leffingwell. It could be, David. For you, it could be going to that cigar bar and hanging out with those guys. That's your reward for getting X, Y, and Z thing done.
So I spoke earlier. I was like, to me, my challenge right now is weight loss, and I have a number that I want to get down to. Mm-hmm. And when I get to that number, I'm buying a fully bespoke suit.
Nice. Custom tailored?
Custom tailored, nice. Fully bespoke, every single thing.
A well-fitting suit.
4 or 5 measurement. Just
build your confidence in ways that just When you look good, it changes the way you feel and think about yourself. It's weird, it shouldn't, but it really does. A custom tailored suit, just you
Yeah.
feel like you're on top of the world. You feel like you're walking out of that tailor and you're like, I am king
Yeah.
of the world right now.
Yeah, I've had I've had some suits that I've had altered and tailored and things of that nature, but
Mhm.
I've never had one that's literally just started with measurements, that chalk line put down, that fabric cut. I didn't get to choose the fabric,
Mhm.
and this stitching and I didn't get to do that. When I get to the weight that I want, that is what I'm going to do.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That is what I'm doing.
That's
And that suit,
that's a great goal,
it's
man.
going to be it's going to be the most. It's going to that one article, that one suit is going to cost more than the rest of my wardrobe combined.
Well,
Actually, no, I got to take these out. These are rather pricey.
I'll tell you why that's also a good reward for yourself is that's also motivation to continue to fit into that suit.
To stay that way. Yes.
Right. That's a really good gift. That's awesome, man.
Yeah. So that is my goal. Rewarding yourself. So
look, when you hit that goal and you get that suit made, let me know. We're gonna go out in suits, city of your choice, and we're gonna have a cigar.
New York.
Okay, we're gonna make it happen.
City.
We're gonna go to your place.
There's no other city. There's no other city. If you want to go out and do it up, you got to be in New York City, bud.
We're gonna go to your place. Suits, cigars, bourbon. We're gonna make it happen. Let me know when you're close, so I can prepare a little bit too. We're gonna make it happen.
You have time. you
got lots of time.
I had Subway for dinner. It did not help out.
Well, I mean, the good thing about Subway
bread.
is they can't technically call it bread, so I'm not sure it really even counts as carbs, frankly.
Yeah. I'm not supposed to have too many carbs, so don't tell Dr. What's the guy? We met him at the cigar lounge.
Yeah, Dr.
Levy.
Levy.
Yeah,
that's
Dr.
what I was going
Levy.
to say.
Yeah, Dr. Levy. So yeah, he's my guy. He takes care of me with getting me down. So we got the medicine finally figured out and everything. So, and it's been working really well. So hopefully we can keep on it and I can get down in there and get my suit.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Got to get my suit.
So, but
yeah, totally bespoke suit.
Nice.
There's a tailor down here in Syracuse, but then there are a couple tailors down in New York City, and part of me wants to be, the bougie man that I am, as my wife calls me.
You're bougie.
The part of me is just like, I got to do New York City, so I might actually have to go to New York City to have the suit fitted. And everything. I mean, because it literally is going to be it. It's going to start as, here are the fabrics. They're going to take the measurements. They're going to draw the outlines of it, and I'll probably have 2, maybe 3. Fittings that I'll have to go down there for a fully bespoke suit.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be awesome.
That is awesome. That's cool, man. So, so number 8 is reward yourself appropriately for like we mentioned, road mapping. You get your stretch goals, your big long-term goals. You have milestones along the way. You have other goals you set for yourself along the way. Reward yourself, because even though consciously we're aware those rewards essentially mean nothing. You could go at any time and do X, Y, or Z thing for yourself. But subconsciously, we all still have that reptile brain built into our medulla oblongata. Nice.
I said medulla oblongata.
There you go. You got the reference. So
that's a Waterboy reference.
It's all built into our reptile brains. So when we do something good, we get reward. We feel good. That's that is the Pavlovian response to receiving that reward.
That rings a
when
bell.
You achieve a goal. Now, granted, Pavlov was one of history's greatest villains. Don't get me started on that asshole. But aside from that, the responses are built into your brain. So reward yourself appropriately. Make sure you do, because if you don't, it's not going to those improvements and those the goal setting skills that you just built for self-discipline aren't going to kick in as well if you don't reward yourself. Yeah, so that's very important.
And the inverse of that is true as well. You can't reward yourself if you lose a half a pound with 3 quarts of ice cream and a pizza.
And that's exactly
You
it.
can't be like, oh, I'm on the right direction and then do that.
Right.
So,
So we're all
it's
aware of the
coordinated.
idea of positive reinforcement. There's also something called negative reinforcement. So a lot of people don't realize that positive
I
reinforcement.
understand. Are you going to get this correct? Are you
I am going to
get this correct, or are you going to Ghostbuster this up?
No. So positive reinforcement is when you achieve a goal, you give yourself something. Negative reinforcement is when you don't achieve a goal or you do something inappropriate or wrong, you take something away. Don't be afraid to do that either. You should be able to do that.
Yeah.
Guess what? If you don't meet that goal, maybe you should take away. I'm not going to eat ice cream this month. Not going to happen. I'm not going to buy that bag of Doritos that I would normally reward myself with on Fridays. I didn't meet that. Don't beat yourself up, but at the same time, you need to build in that negative reward system.
Yeah. So that treat is a reward. If you didn't meet your goal, you shouldn't be getting that reward.
That's exactly it. It's exactly it.
So that's it.
So number 8, I had
Dude, number 7. Number 7 is still number 7. Just
for most people,
yeah.
you should begin and end with number 7, which is visualize the cost of inaction. That should give you nightmares.
Yeah.
That should give you nightmares, the cost of inaction.
So my wife, being the absolute queen, in her case, of procrastination.
Oh, I can relate. I'm the queen of procrastination around here. Yeah.
Okay. Hey, what you do on your own time is your own business. You need to lay off that soy milk.
I've been drinking a lot. I've been feeling very catfishy lately.
Yeah, it's a little catfish. You got the whiskers coming out there, bud.
It's not a beard. It's
your gills
literally
are showing.
catfish whiskers.
Your gills are showing, West. Yeah. So, that's gotta be tough. I mean, it's gonna be tough for people who have, procrastination issues about, taking action, getting things done.
Yeah.
Me, I have always found that when I take too long, on a regret scale, let's just look at a regret scale, which is which is very objective, and it's not subjective at all. It's a joke. It's backwards. That the issues and problems I have by taking too long to make a decision have always been worse than the fast decisions.
That's it.
Because I can see the direction that I'm going, and if I need to make a correction to that decision, I can do that, and I can, ping pong paddle or what's the button? Pinball paddle this thing into the middle, and get where I need to go. But if I don't do anything, the ball just drops right through, and it doesn't matter what I do, I've already lost.
That's exactly it. Look, and that's exactly it. So in Silicon Valley, there's the motto, move fast and break things. And it's exactly the right course of action to take in a lot of cases. We've all heard the phrase, it's easier to ask for forgiveness than for permission, right? And the same thing goes with setting your own goals. It's a lot easier to clean up a mess if you make a mess. It's impossible to make up for inaction when you missed that train.
Yeah, you can't miss it. Yeah,
Sometimes,
if you miss it, there's nothing, you're done.
In fact, not even sometimes. A lot of times, you will not get a second chance. When opportunity knocks, you must take it. It's easier to clean up that mess afterwards than to have never taken that. What's the baseball thing? It's easier to you miss every hit you don't swing
something
at.
About never look a drunk whore in the mouth or something.
You miss every shot you don't take. You miss every.
It's basketball. It's basketball, and you miss 100% of the shots you don't.
There
take.
you go. I knew it was some kind of sports thing, but it's true though. It's 100% true, and that's the only quote that would ever make me want to watch some sort of a sport.
Yeah, that's basketball. So I mean, I don't want to watch that. That sport just confuses the shit out of me because at the beginning of the game, you can basically take an elbow across somebody's jaw and it's fine. But at the end of the game, if you breathe too heavy, it's a foul. And it's too subjective for me. There's no finite rules on this. If I can elbow them at the beginning of the game, I should be able to elbow them at the end of the game.
Yeah, I don't get it. I feel the same way about football. Frankly, my son and I have been to a couple of games because my wife's family is big into football, and he'll ask me occasionally what's happening, and I'll just tell him nobody knows. Nobody's actually sure what's happening. Let's go do something else.
The next chance we get, we should go to a football game with me, and I can break the whole damn thing down for him because I actually understand football. My daughter plays soccer. I don't
See, I get soccer. Soccer's much easier.
You think I understand hockey?
It's just sprinting from one side of the field to the other, essentially.
Yeah. So when I used to coach football, I used to say, I can coach soccer. This is easy. Run, kick the ball, run some more. And even to today, as I watch them, they run, they kick the ball, and then they run some more. But now, sometimes they kick the ball, run, and then kick the ball again. So sometimes it's backwards.
It's tricky. It's tricky.
Really, I mean,
it's tricky. But guess what? They miss every shot they don't take.
They miss every shot they don't take.
That's it. That's it.
One of them.
Look, if I can ingrain that one piece of knowledge in children's brains, I will have done a good thing as a father. You miss every shot you don't take. That's it. You visualize the cost of inaction. Number 7 on this list is unbelievably important in every area of life. By the way, everybody watching and listening, if you want the full article of what we're talking about, the actual show notes of this show versus the random rants, go to torchdynamic.com, read the full blog post. You can actually get it in much more detail without the weird random rants that we're talking
That's
about
not the value. I'll tell you what, if you do that and then you're like, you know what, I kind of missed the rants, call me up. I'll rant for 20 minutes and you'll feel like you got the whole effect.
Exactly. And that's it. Call either one of us and we'll literally just talk to you for hours about nothing.
David, I want you to rant about carrots. Fucker, it's on.
Dude, I can talk to you about some carrots, man.
I don't know anything about carrots except the name carrots and that they're orange. The guy who used to voice Bugs Bunny's voice, he was actually allergic to carrots.
Mel Blanc was allergic to carrots?
Yeah, Mel Blanc was.
I didn't know that.
Allergic to carrots.
I had no idea.
And he would have to make the noise and spit. So see, this is what I'm saying. Give me just the littlest topic.
I do know my brother ate lots of carrots when he was a teenager because he read that if you eat carrots, it'll turn you slightly orange. He wanted to get tan without actually being in the sun. Of course, he's Irish. He ate lots of carrots because he was also an idiot. But aside from that, so yeah, we have some carrot stories, everybody.
That's it. I mean, we just and that's the thing. And I think I was talking about this maybe last week. I don't remember if it was before or after the show. I might have talked to you, whether it was on the show or not. Nikki was talking to me. I was sitting literally out on the couch in here.
Yeah.
Because I always take my lunch. I take my lunch, but I leave here. Even if Nikki brings it to me, I leave. I go out there. I do not eat lunch at my desk. So I had a meeting like right after lunch, and she was like, do you need to go prepare? I'm like,
no. Have you met me?
No, I don't. No, I am preparation. That's why all the other things I do, that makes me prepared. I don't need to prepare for any specific meeting. I just go with my knowledge. If somebody asks me questions I can't answer, I write them down, tell them I'll get back to them, and then I go find the answers. That's it. And, we made this scenario. I was like, I don't care if there's 100,000 people that I'm going to go walk through that door and go talk to. I'm still doing this right here. And she had this moment where she's like, I'm getting anxiety just
because you're not
talking about this thing that I would be so nervous. Me being so nervous for you talking about a scenario that is not happening. And so, yeah.
You're basically the Judge Dredd of business bullshitting. So, how Judge Dredd with Sylvester Stallone was like, I am the law.
Yeah.
Essentially, you're the same way, only like you're I am preparedness.
I am the subject matter expert.
I am the SME.
I'm the SME. Don't talk about the SME. You merely adopted the SME. I was born into it. That was a Batman reference.
You go.
They got that bit from Bane. But yeah,
the worst Bane ever. Come on.
They did not set him up for success. I will give you that.
You either live long enough to become the SME, You either
Either you die,
you-
or you die the
you either
Shmee,
die
or
this me, or you live long enough to become
become
the
outdated.
the office prick.
Cheers to the office prick. Yes. Man, number 7, man, just keeps resonating. Go through the whole list again, because I'm gonna get caught up on number 7.
All right,
'cause
all
that
right.
was just so.
Number 1 is
so freaking
define your
amazing.
purpose. Find your why. Why are you trying to build your self-discipline in the way that you are? So define your why. Define your purpose. Number 2 is build your willpower, which means you need to actually. You can spin this in the way David talks about or not. You need to actually build up delaying gratification on certain things. That is real willpower.
Delayed
gratification is a real. It's an exercise. It's a tool that you need to build up in yourself because most people can't do it. Number 3 is harness.
Very tantric of you.
I wasn't going there. Number 3 is harness the 3-minute rule, which is not tantric. You need to find the hardest tasks throughout your day, and when you're not feeling it, when you're feeling down, you're just not motivated at all, give yourself 3 minutes to achieve that goal. At the end of that 3 minutes, you're either going to go beyond 3 minutes and finish it, or you're going to say, I can't do it. Take 5 minutes off, walk away, come back after that 5 minutes, give it 3 more minutes. And eventually you're going to reach the point where you're like, I need to keep doing this. And that's going to get you in the groove, the mode of getting that work done. Number 4 is optimize your environment, which is surround yourself with things that help you achieve those goals, help you get the work done. Remove distractions from your environment. Understand that surroundings influence your habits. So your surroundings absolutely.
I'm fat because I can't exercise because my kids make a mess in the basement. That is not true. That is not true. But it is true that I do not go downstairs to work out as much as I should. And that is one of the largest parts of why I don't go down there. Because I can go down there and I cannot get to exercising because I have to do all this other stuff.
Your treadmill has a TV on it. You don't have to look at your surroundings. Look at the TV.
Son, I go down there and I push the buttons. I do the run scenic thing. It's got all kinds of stuff on it built into it. I put my earbud in. I blast music. I want hype music.
Get in the zone of the hype music. Forget about the thing laying on the floor next to you.
I can't do it. There's a fucking tent on the workout floor, bud. There's a tent. I can't function. I can't work like this.
So I put on audiobooks when I'm working, and I listen to those. I get into the zone of those audiobooks. I'll be in another world. I'll be thinking about Middle Earth or Hogwarts or Jordan Peterson instead of all the random shit happening around me. So I like audiobooks. That's how I get out of the escape. It's my escapism.
I fell out of the audiobooks. And I don't know why. I don't know what I was listening to. They just kind of
love audiobooks.
I know. I've suspended my account because I had like 18 credits that I hadn't used because there was a lot of things you can get for free, and I had the subscription. It just kept renewing. I was like, all right, fuck it. So I'm gonna. And if you cancel, you lose them.
Right, they're not yours anymore.
So you have to buy
renting them essentially.
Yeah, you have to buy them, and then you can cancel. Once you cancel them after you buy them, then they stay yours.
Yes.
So I had to use them. So I've got a bunch of them that I've never heard, I've never listened to, that I want to get into. But again, it's that whole we were talking about, your attention, where your attention goes. It's just, there are other things for me to do at the moment.
All right, here's your homework, David. Here's your homework. Audiobook. Get Influence by Robert Cialdini. It will change. I'm telling you. I know you haven't read that book. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna buy that book, a hard printed version of this book, and that's gonna be your Christmas present because you must read or listen to this book.
I'll get it before that. Don't worry about that.
Listen to this book. It will change. You will thank me for making you listen to this book. I'm telling you. All right. So that is optimize your environment. Number 5 was focus on the small gains. Small daily wins. Keep that motivation going, because when you feel the satisfaction, the endorphin hit of having achieved this goal, you're going to want to get that again. It's literally chemically addictive when you achieve goals.
That's how I finally quit smoking cigarettes. That is literally how I finally quit smoking cigarettes, because I kept a running tab of days without a cigarette.
Right.
And, when I finally stopped, I got to 2 days, and then I got to 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
And 3 days is not a lot of days, but I'm like, man, I don't want to start over at 0 days. So I went to 4 days, and I got to 4 days, and it went on. And then, it was tough for a while.
That's it.
And then I finally got to 2 weeks. Then I got to a month. And after a month, you're like, I don't want to waste that.
Right.
And then I got to 2 months, and I'm like, ain't no fucking way am I going to waste that, because
Right.
I got to go back to 0. Then 6 months, and you're like, oh man, I'm here. I'm out drinking. Everybody else is having a cigarette. I mean, man, I'd love that. I enjoyed smoking. Okay.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. It was great. And even from that to cigars, where you don't inhale cigars, but even from that to having a cigar, it was years. It was probably close to a decade before I started smoking and getting into cigars. And I do a cigar a week,
Mm-hmm.
maybe 2 cigars on a really busy week. So I'm not in any danger.
Let me ask you a question, though. How often do you see somebody just really taking a great hit off a cigarette, and you're like, oh, man, I want that again?
Every fucking time I see him.
I knew you were going to say that. I've never asked you that question. I knew you were going to say that because it's true.
Every time.
You talk to anybody who's ever had any addiction, if they're intellectually honest with themselves, they love that thing, man. Whether it's a cigarette or it's crack, they love it. People who get off hardcore drugs years later, they're like, man, I loved it. And I still think about it every single day. And that's true with this. Achieving goals and setting those small goals is chemically addictive.
Yeah.
Endorphins in your mind
I got
are
addicted
chemically addictive.
to getting the satisfaction of adding another day, adding another month.
That's it.
Adding in 6 months, adding a year. I got addicted to that. Now I can go out with friends now, and there have been some times where we've got drunk and we smoked a couple cigarettes.
Yeah.
And I smoke cigarettes now like I'll do a cigar.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't inhale them, and I just roll it around and get rid of it, because I know a lot more. And
Right. Yeah.
cigarettes are not good. Cigarettes are not.
Oh,
good
it's
things.
horrible. It's Star Wars
If
death
I were
sticks is what
actually
they
to
are.
inhale,
Yeah.
you do not want to sell me death sticks.
It's true though. The
That was
chemicals that are
probably
in them.
One of the dumbest part, but
was so dumb.
very true
Yeah.
parts. It was very dumb, but it is very, very, very true. So in cigars, okay, real quick lesson for everybody. Real quick lesson, because we haven't had enough tangents tonight. The stem pieces out of the tobacco leaves, that is where the vast majority of the nicotine is in cigars. We don't use them in cigar rolling.
No.
We cut them out. They keep
because
them
they don't smoke very
because
well.
then they sell because then they sell them to be ground up and made into cigarettes.
Right.
To make the product more
Oh, your
addictive, to
cigarettes
make
are the
product
trash material. Yeah, it's garbage.
Yeah.
Full of other chemicals, by the way.
Yeah, which is
By the
why
way-
you tell me, you say all the time, like, David, you for a guy who can't taste and smell or do anything, you kind of stay on the high end bourbon and you stay on the high end cigars. There's a reason for that, because when you start stepping into the lower end stuff, especially in the cigar world, you might just be getting the shit that's swept up off the floor.
Also,
and I'm not interested in that.
yeah. Also, along the same tangent, nicotine isn't actually the addictive compound in nicotine products, in nicotinoid products, cigars, cigarettes, even chewing tobacco. Nicotine isn't the addictive compound. There's a reason why you don't see pipe smokers jonesing for a pipe smoke. They're like, they're not like, oh, dude, I'm shaking, I'm having a rough day, I gotta smoke this pipe. They're not doing it. Same thing. Cigar smokers. They're not like, dude, I gotta have a cigar. I'm jonesing over here. No, cigarette smokers do. Why is that? It's not because of the nicotine. It's because of all the other chemical bullshit they put in these things. Nicotine is actually it's actually been shown to optimize brain functionality. Having one hit of nicotine. In fact, here's something in Silicon Valley. This is a real thing. People will actually take nicotine pouches, patches, and they'll just take one a day. First thing in the morning, nicotine patch, not because they need the nicotine, but because it optimizes brain functions for the rest of the day. That's a real thing.
Yeah, there's a new study out about it was mainly based around cigars, but it does go into that and some of the benefits from actual
And
nicotine,
cigars and pipes have way more nicotine than cigarettes do. Way more. I can't tell you how many times I've had a pipe with some really heavy nicotine tobacco in it, and you have to stop halfway through. You're like, I feel like I'm going to vomit. I can't handle that much nicotine.
So I was just, like I said, I was just out in Vegas. This lady comes in with her girlfriend, wife, or whatever, and she's like, "Hey, XYZ is going to have her first cigar," and I'm in the humidor at the time, and the guy's in there, and you can just see he's doesn't really know what to do.
Right.
So I walk right over to the Monte Cristo White series.
Yeah.
I pick it up
Fair.
and I say, "Has she eaten today? Has she
That's
eaten
it.
recently? Yes, then this cigar will do just fine. But if you try to put that on an empty stomach,
Yeah,
it's going to make you queasy.
Yeah, go have a
You're gonna have
breadstick and then come back.
Yeah, they come back. It's like now she's looking for something a little more flavorful, a little more sweet and flavored. So I think she ended up with a Lady Rose or Deadwood or whatever that.
Yeah.
One of the Drew Estate versions, but there was something that was that had some sweetness to it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So anyway,
that was a quick random ass wild tangent down the road, but it based off of the that
focus on small
that
goals.
reward system. The small goals was I quit smoking. I wanted to keep that number going, and eventually we'll call it the endorphin hit of the number going up replaced the endorphin hit from the cigarette.
Right. When you set
And
those
even
goals for yourself, when you set daily goals for yourself, weekly goals, monthly goals, when you achieve those goals, look, a small amount of endorphins are going to hit your brain and you're going to say, yeah, I feel rewarded because I met this goal.
Mm-hmm.
Even though you don't necessarily feel it, it's not like a runner's high, or even even the same high you'd get from the nicotine from a cigar. You're going to feel, subconsciously at least, the satisfaction of doing that. That's those endorphins. So set those goals. Those small goals really, really make a big difference. Number 6, align your efforts with your energy. You need to, again, if you're being intellectually honest with yourself, you know what time of day you are more likely to finish large tasks of work. You know when you have the most energy, when you're most likely to be in the zone to work. Don't save the work that you like for those times. Set your bullshit work that you hate to do, that you know is just a slog on your day for those times, because you are going to be more likely to finish those tasks during that time. So understand when your energy is most optimal. Align your schedule to work best in those time frames. Align your efforts with your energy. Number 7 was my all-time favorite. I think it was yours too, David.
Yeah, absolutely. It was great.
Visualize the cost of inaction. I mean, that's enough to change your life right there.
That if you had to take any one of these and say, this is the foundation I'm going to build on, or the foundation that's going to give me the kick in the ass, this is the one.
Right.
This is the one to get you going. And again, our whole thing is about getting you to start your business, to start your life, to take that idea that you have and make something of it, to become your own boss. That's the whole purpose of this entire thing we've done for over 4 years,
223 episodes. So look,
223
let's
episodes.
say you have this amazing business idea. It's this incredible idea. You are 100% positive if you could do this thing, it would change the world. It would make you a millionaire, right? Let's just shoot for the stars. The cost of inaction. Guess what? You're doing your same 9-to-5 job every single day, the rest of your life. Nothing changes. What's the benefit of you actually doing this thing? Actually dedicating, instead of watching 5 hours of TV in the evenings, dedicate that 5 hours to doing something towards achieving this goal.
Dedicate 4 of them.
4 of them.
Take another
3 of those. 3 of those 5 hours dedicate to achieving this goal. What's the cost benefit analysis of this versus that? It's either going back to your daily same thing every single day in, working, 9, 10, 12 hours a day to make somebody else rich for the rest of your life, versus building something for yourself and potentially building generational wealth for your entire family. Would you rather sit down and watch that football game? Would you rather sit down and binge watch a show you've already seen 12 times because it's comfortable? It's up to you. Visualize the cost of inaction And that should give you nightmares. I mean, the
Oh,
cost of
it's
inaction.
gorgeous.
I'm thinking about things that I'm working on right now, and I already know for a fact I'm taking way too long to take certain steps and achieve certain milestones, and it's killing me. I mean, I'm not a naturally stressed out person, and I'm feeling incredible stress over certain things taking much longer than they should. So the cost of inaction can be detrimental. I mean, incredibly detrimental to your entire life if you think about the everyday norm versus what could be if you would just dedicate a few hours a day.
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just that whole category is just wow.
Yeah. And then number 8, of course,
Wow.
was reward yourself appropriately. So without those
Yep.
rewards, it's gonna be much
Appropriately.
harder.
Very important.
Yeah, it's gonna be much harder to build those habits. Frankly, all of this is a habit. The idea of building self discipline in general is a habit. It's a muscle. You lose it, you don't use it, you lose it.
Yeah.
So you need to build the habits of maintaining all of these things to maintain that self discipline.
So this is for the people that are out there working the 9 to 5. This right here goes in with what you do as well.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody's built out for entrepreneurship. That's as simple as it is.
Even 9 to 5 job though. Yeah, all
Um,
these things apply.
Yeah, even on a 9 to 5 job, even if you have it, you need to be building in these rewards. And actually, I worked with a guy this week out in California. His name's Sam, and he taught me a phrase that I was struggling to put into words what I was feeling, what I was thinking. And this was like 2 years ago.
Mhm.
And he comes up and he goes, "Yeah, man, it's just all stick and no carrot." And I'm like,
That's it.
holy hellfire.
That's it.
That is exactly what I'm trying to say. So if you don't reward yourself, this goes back to horses. It's all stick. All you're doing is
We could
hitting
do a whole
the
show
horse
just on
with a
that.
stick.
I might do a whole show just dedicated to
And no
stick versus
carrot.
carrot. Whether it comes
Yeah.
to
And
yeah.
with no reward base. So if all we're getting is the whip, and we're not getting any any reward from
Mm-hmm.
our actions, why bother? I'm gonna go find somewhere else that at least even if I get the same amount of whip,
Yeah.
I can get at least some kind of reward.
So you're talking about that in a way
And
of self-motivation. I mean, think about how many people out there are working a 9 to 5 job and they're doing their day-to-day thing every single day, day in, day out, and they're never ever pulled aside by their boss and said, "Hey man, you're doing a great job. I really appreciate you."
yeah,
Versus
no,
that boss every single day for 20, 40, 60 years threatening them with their job, right? Threatening them
yeah,
saying, "Hey, you know what? You didn't meet your goal." Or, "Hey, you know what? You met your goal. You could have done better."
yeah.
Think
Like
how many
right
people
now,
live in fear because they're getting all stick, no carrot every single day of their
yeah.
lives. How does that affect your brain and your mindset? And
Oh,
you take that
absolutely.
home and you
It's
instill that in
brutal.
your
That's
family.
you're allowing abuse on yourself is
It
what you're
is
doing at that
abuse.
point.
And the way that
That's what
affects
you're
them at
doing.
work, most people are at work at least 8 hours a day, sometimes 10 or
Yep.
12 hours a day. You can't tell me
Unless you're
those
me.
people aren't bringing that home and instilling that same feeling into their family, into their kids. That can be generational.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm very particular. And it frustrates me sometimes as I've spoken about, the status of the basement. We have a fucking tent on the workout
Mhm.
floor. I'm very particular about not and making sure that my kids know that they are allowed to do things to relax after school, after work, after this, after that. They can decompress. They can take time for themselves, as opposed to what we were all taught was you don't get any rest until everything is done. Well, guess what? Because of this freaking bullshit idea brought in by foreigners that everything has to be efficient, we've cut so much people out of the
Well, you
workforce
always talk about efficiency over
that
effectiveness. Yeah.
yes, I do. And it is, anybody that gets on board with that is going to have a very successful business. But we have these things now. Work never ends. So if you take that and you pass it on to your kids, they can't relax. They can't do anything until everything is done. It's never done. Life doesn't end until you're dead.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to tell you, I don't want to do it, and I definitely don't want my kids just working to die.
Yeah,
That's just all there is to it.
that's it. And
So, get those rewards in,
yeah,
take the time, and it's not, if you're in a place right now that's all stick and no carrot, leave.
you're in the wrong place. That's it.
You're in the
We
wrong
should do
place.
a countdown show of how to know when you're in the wrong career.
That's great.
All stick, no carrot. That's a big one.
I love my
I mean,
career. I love my career.
and so it reminds me of the idea that on a different note, but also in the way of identifying that you're in the wrong place. The idea of if you're the smartest one in the room, you're in the wrong room. That sort of thing. I mean, there are a lot of ways to identify that you're in the wrong place, and I think a lot of people don't realize it. We should do a show just on that. But all stick, no carrot, man. That's really profound. I love that.
Yeah, it when he said to me, I was like I'm floored
Yeah.
here. You verbalized something that I was struggling with for a few months.
Yeah.
And you verbalized it
Because we've all felt it. We've all been in
like
those
it
work
was
environments
nothing.
that are frankly abusive.
Yeah. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Right now is probably some of the worst it's ever been. And because when we talk about breakfast meetings and oh, wait a minute, you need 17 approvals and you got 15 bosses.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier today, it's like we're going to have more presidents, vice presidents, and GMs than we have actual freaking salespeople here soon.
Yeah, forget about driving sales. Let's have more executives to fill out spreadsheets.
Yeah. So and so I'm very vocal about that. Very vocal about spreadsheets and how making more spreadsheets has never generated revenue.
And I'm not.
For
by the way,
anyone.
I'm not knocking spreadsheets. I love a spreadsheet.
I love spreadsheets. We've talked about this for years. Both of us love spreadsheets. We love it. It is.
But it's a
they
tool.
do make very good tools.
Yeah, it's a tool.
Yes. Yeah, both of us went there almost identically, at the same exact times. Like it is a very good tool, but it needs to be used as a tool.
Right.
It is not king, and making more of them doesn't change the numbers that is in them.
Right. Exactly.
And that's the problem I see. And one of these days, somebody's going to ask me, I've got a couple people right now that are headhunting me. And, if somebody comes to me and goes, "Hey, David, what do you think about this?" I might actually answer them honestly at this point.
Look, you can't leave yet. You can't
we'll
leave.
see how that goes.
You can't leave yet.
I know. We got some paperwork to do.
We have some paperwork to do. But anyway, so those are the 8 essential rules for mastering self-discipline.
Damn good rules. Wes, you again absolutely knocked it out of the park on this one tonight.
I'll take that carrot.
Those were amazing.
I'll take that carrot over the stick.
Those were amazing. Do you see how easy that is, managers?
Wait, what's funny is there are literally
it was
here's
a damn
one
good
of the
topic, well written tonight.
Well, here's one of the problems with working in the modern world. We're living in a world where it's so easy for companies to bring in people. They might not be the best people, but they can fill a seat. They can do certain jobs, which means there are people who are very, very well qualified to fill those roles who have lived their entire life never having received a genuine compliment on the work that they're doing. Think how that must affect their minds, their mindsets, to work 60 years and never once hear someone genuinely from the bottom of their heart saying, "You know what?
Yeah,
you did a great job. I appreciate you." There are people in America right now who've never heard that.
So yeah, we closed, and I'm part of a team. I'm part of a team, but I'm not part of a team. They just didn't know where the hell to put me, so they stuck me where I'm at right now. And I'm different from the rest of the people on my team, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my title and my boss's title are the same.
That's super weird.
Yeah, it is super weird. It's got to be very weird for him.
I'd love to see your org chart sometime.
Oh man, our org chart is nuts. So from his level down, it kind of makes sense, but from his level up, it gets retarded. I mean, it's absolutely insane. And it keeps changing. I'm like, you guys know none of these people actually drive revenue, right? None of them. None of these people do.
Unbelievable.
I've just watched over the because I've only been on this team for about a year now. Well, actually a year coming up at the end of this month. And it's never just a pure compliment. It's always, good job. We close really strong next year, but let's start pulling in these numbers for this next month, for this next quarter, for this next thing. It's never just this. It's never, hey, we asked you guys to do the impossible and you did it. Take a deep breath, relax. We're gonna, because we built up this, we're gonna be able to, step back and regroup. It's always a fire drill.
Mm-hmm.
And that is my number one thing for where I'm at right now and who I report to, because it is, everything's an emergency, everything's a fire drill, nonstop.
Well, and that's
it's
one of the problems
burns
with
out employees so fast.
Corporate organizations. People burn out because everything is so reactive instead of proactive. Everything is so reactive to the problems versus being proactive to avoid the problems in the first place. And then people burn out. They move
it's
on.
Like, I can't say this online.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this. It's like dealing with a. Never
yeah,
mind.
we'll move on. Anyway, look, we've been going for a while. Let's go ahead and wrap this up. We've been going for 2.5 hours. Those were the 8 essential rules for mastering self-discipline. If you want the full show notes as in blog form, go to torchdynamic.com. Check out the insights in the blogs there. I think you'll really enjoy it. There's some good information there. All of our shows are on there as a blog post. Torchdynamic.com. So in the meantime, I've been Wes. This guy's been David. We've been drinking a little bit too much for this time of the night, but luckily it's a Friday. We're going to sign out. You're going to lose David's video feed in a second, and then we're just going to sign out instead of normal out. It's David.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Yeah, we'll see you guys.
Bonjour.